Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Ha 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 ha!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Thanks for watching FSP. Mav here. Fuzzy should be here in a little while. He said he's running behind. As usual, now has kind of become the norm for Thursdays, starting the show by myself and end up having whoever's able to hop in in the middle of the show. But I appreciate each and every single one of y'all for being here. It is Thursday, like I said. Almost 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 Eastern Time. So I know we're running behind, but I was messing with stuff, trying to get my camera and lighting and settings tuned up better because I'm noticing the quality isn't where I want it to be on some things. So I appreciate the patience, but you guys rock as always, and we are going to have a fun show because there is a lot of positive things to talk about as far as gaming and also Xbox land. We had some game showcase yesterday for a game called Stranger Than Heaven, which we've seen before, and just a kind of an initial reveal, but this was like an in-depth look. Tina Amini from Xbox had the first look at Xbox Presents, which is a new format they're doing for showcasing individual games. So I thought that was interesting. As well as also another game came out today in Game Pass called Mixtape. Wow, it's actually reviewing extremely well. This could be end up being one of those like indie darling game of the year type game contenders. It's a shorter game, but it's one that they've been promoting for a few years now. And with Game Pass getting these kind of games is always an awesome plus. You know, not everything has to be the biggest AAA things. You can also have these indie games and stuff like that that hit really hard. So we're going to talk a little bit about Mixtape as well. Lots of Halo news to talk about, also as well as I have an announcement for things I want to do going forward, and maybe we'll see how it goes starting tomorrow. Gonna try something for the channel, something we used to do back in the day. And if you've been around with fun speculation for years, I'm talking about like OG days, Magnificent Seven days, and before even. Friday nights after Xbox Ultimate podcast. For a long time, we ended up doing Halo. We played Master Chief Collection because Halo Infinite wasn't even out yet. Halo community game nights, and you know, yesterday it was a surprise announcement that Gauntlet mode hit in Halo Infinite, and I decided to dive in. I had Kate join me as well, and we decided to check it out. And man, it kind of reinvigorated Halo for me, man. There's like this Gauntlet mode is insane. It is super hard, which is fun, a challenge. But also we dove into a little bit of multiplayer and had a blast. And it's like, man, this is so good. Like this is so good. Why aren't we playing this anymore? You know, put in plenty of time with Halo Infinite, but just not kind of got away from it over the last couple years. And so tomorrow night, I think at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time, gonna have custom games for community. Hop in, play Halo. So if you want to join in, install Halo Infinite on your Xbox, on your PC, wherever you play. Join us tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central, and we'll get some games rolling. And I guarantee you, it'll be a blast. If it's anything like the old days where we used to have community nights, there could be a lot of shenanigans and insane things happening with that. But yeah, it's Halo's been kind of interesting, man. It's like really one of those games that if you just dive back into, and I'm talking about Halo Infinite specifically, it's like, wow, this is so freaking good, man. Like, it's just so polished and smooth. The gameplay, the gunplay. Really, I think it's the best out there. And I'm not just exaggerating because I'm a Halo fan. I mean, I honestly believe that Halo Infinite has the most solid mechanics feeling of any first person shooter multiplayer game. It has the most skill gap. It has like a big just overall fun factor. I don't know how to explain it any more than when you're playing Halo, it just kind of grabs you more than these other shooters for me. Um so anyway, we'll do that. It depends if we don't have enough people, we can do some like just regular old stream and have some Team Slayer matches and all that kind of stuff. But I think it'd be fun, man. Calorie says, "Let's go. I'm down for some Halo nights. Also, if you want me to jump on the show until Fuzzy shows up, I can do. Hey, dude, you got the key, man. So welcome to hop in here, Calorie. Um, Def Leppard says, I love Halo multiplayer. Yeah, me too, man. I have over 200 something hours, I think, of Halo Infinite this generation, but it kind of pales in comparison to my Halo days of the past, you know, when it was thousands. I think Master Chief Collection, I mean, just insane amount of time put into that. But I don't see, maybe we can get like 3-bit in there. Maybe we can get, I don't know what Jasper's doing. He's stuck in space right now, I think. Um, See who we can't get to hop in. I know that Game Pass Dad, he streams Halo occasionally, so maybe he could hop in with some of his community as well. I think it could be fun. Satna says, I was always having fun with Halo Infinite. You have over 39 days in Halo Infinite. That's awesome, bro. That's more than I have in Arc Raiders. Speaking of Arc Raiders, the new map is actually pretty good. It's pretty small, but it's actually pretty fun. The new firefight mode is brutal, Ray. Yeah, Kate, you'll actually absolutely be there. This was actually her idea. This was actually her idea. So if you enjoy it tomorrow night, you can thank her. Yeah, there's things I don't understand about how the new firefight mode works. I'm gonna pull you in, Calorie. Well, hey, pause. I'm gonna pull him into the show. I'll say that. Um, Let me know when you get your mic set up and stuff, bro.
I think it's working.
You good? Okay, right on, man. Hey, dude, welcome. How you
Yeah,
doing?
thanks, man. Pretty good. Let me get the camera on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Not
Um,
presentable, but it's all good.
I never am. Absolutely never. I just throw a hat on. As long as I have a shirt and a hat on, I think I'm good to go.
Yeah, I need the hat. I need the hat. I want to
You
show my bald head.
I'm not completely bald, you know. I mean, if people have been watching, they've seen my head plenty of times before. But like a lot of people think I don't have a head, because they only see me with a hat. Well, hair, I guess. So I have hair, you know.
I'm like bald
Oh
bald
yeah,
though. Yeah.
you're way more gone than I am.
And I'm younger than you too. It's depressing.
Yeah, I got my
Welcome
dad's
everybody to
hair,
the
man. I think, and it's probably gonna stay like this forever because this is what my dad's did. I mean, it's just like slowly creeps back over the decades, you know. But it's always there still. So, but he would wear his longer. He would wear his longer. So like, if he was walking in the wind, his hair would like start flapping, and it would just show his forehead like in the middle. I'd always say you can tell he's coming because he's waving hello and not even trying to. Um, Sup Talos? He said I didn't know they changed. They didn't change the firefight mode, but they added a new one. There's a new firefight mode called Gauntlet, and it's absolutely beastly. I saw Mint Blitz actually made a post, and he's a big Halo guy, and he was like, "This might be one of the biggest challenges in gaming period right now." And I kind of concur. I was kind of blown away. Now there's some mechanics in there I don't really understand. I think I accidentally upped the difficulty level for everybody without meaning to, and that wasn't very nice. So, have you had a chance to try it yet, Calorie? The Gauntlet mode?
I don't even know about it,
Yeah, it
but
was.
I'm gonna have to play with you tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a surprise. Like we kind of thought they were done with the bigger Halo updates, but this just happened yesterday out of nowhere, or the day before yesterday out of nowhere, and it was just like, hey, Halo has a new mode called Gauntlet, a new firefight mode. I do wonder if this is kind of part of, you know, when Asha Sharma had said that they want to fortify their like service games and stuff like that. There has been attention taken away from updates on certain games. She mentioned Sea of Thieves and Elder Scrolls specifically, which we know there's just a massive new content for Elder Scrolls. But when she said that, I was kind of curious. Okay, what does that mean for how they treat motorsport? Because they kind of killed that off as far as like major updates. And I was thinking about Halo Infinite too. Like, where does that stand? Like, because they also were like done with the massive expansions instead, or the content instead, they were doing the smaller, just kind of uh, playlist updates and stuff like that occasionally. And I've seen this new Gauntlet mode. It's like I'm wondering, is this something that she was like, hey, yeah, do this, guys, and now it's out. Surprise! No big announcement ahead of time for it or anything like that. And it might be one of the best things to hit Halo Infinite this entire generation, which is pretty crazy. So, do you think there's anything
I just looked it
to
up. It looks
Asha?
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope they've been working on it. I know, like I think I talked about this before, but a bunch of streamers played Halo Infinite like 2 months ago, and it's definitely got the potential to come back. I think I said this last time I was on here, but I got invited randomly by like a group of guys I don't know to go LAN party Halo
Oh, really?
NCC like 2 months ago, and that was the most fun I've had in 10 years. Yeah, I mean, I don't drink, but everyone was just drinking beers. We had like 10 Xboxes set up, 15 people playing Halo 2, Halo 3. It
Yeah.
was epic. But yeah, I mean, Halo's got that ability to bring it back, especially with all the media and all the YouTubers now being like, "Oh, OG Xbox is back." I'm excited to play it. I'm always down to play Halo.
Right on, man. Yeah, it's kind of like it brings me back to that quote that Phil Spencer had a long time ago, and he was like, "If we've lost our way with Halo, we lost our way with Xbox, right?" And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. The last couple of years, seemingly like they had kind of lost their way with Halo, and then at the same time, like coinciding with that was like all the Xbox stuff that was going on. Now we do have, a lot of Halo stuff coming up. Like there's Halo CE remake obviously coming this year. There's more Halo projects in the works that haven't been announced yet, but also yes, or I see this today or yesterday, I can't remember. But there was actually some news about Halo Next, the next big Halo campaign. I saw Jez had posted about this as well as some other people on social media, and there was, I guess, there's a job hiring post, but also it had kind of come out what Joseph Staten, longtime Halo guy, had worked for Microsoft, Bungie originally, then went to Microsoft, then went to 343 to help finish Infinite and get it back on track for a release. Then had since left them, and I don't know where he's at now. I don't know if he's just back with Microsoft or what he's doing. But he kind of had like this like plan of like campaigns going forward, and details of that next campaign had kind of been revealed, as well as the fact that Halo Studios is working on the next big Halo game. I am curious what the pipeline is going to be for the releases. It does seem to me that they have gotten on track with not putting all your eggs in the one basket with just, hey, one big Halo release every 5 years, where they're now doing Halo Remake. They're also going to be doing the next big Halo game. And also, which was rumored, is that they also might be working on a Halo 2 and a Halo 3 remake as well, which just came
Yeah.
out. So this is all exciting for me. And I don't know how much of it was already greenlit beforehand with Phil and Sarah. But with this news, it kind of coincides with the re-energizing of the Xbox brand and the community. And that's one of the reasons it kind of was like, hey, let's new content in Halo. We got all this Halo news coming out. Let's play some fucking Halo, man. So you
I
think
agree. I
you
think
think the pipeline is like something they're gonna try and do better in more Halo releases?
I hope so. I think that's the whole plan of this, right? Is to switch to UE5 with the Halo remake, and then Halo 2 and 3 and UE5, and then hopefully the next project is there too, so they can get more updates out. I think what they need to do though is, Halo Combat, whatever it's called, Evolved, the remake is it's not multiplayer, right? So they need to make sure that they're launching some really cool multiplayer stuff in Halo Infinite or MCC at the same time, because for me, when Gears Reloaded came out, I just played the multiplayer. Like the campaign is cool, but I've played it before, you know what I mean? So if they want to capitalize on it, they should have really good multiplayer um, content to release on with Halo, and just have it like Call of Duty does, and just say like go play multiplayer in the menu of the new Halo remake,
Mm-hmm.
and you just click it and it opens the other game and you play. I think that's how you push it. And yeah, they need to get more content on all their games coming out. I just hope that they can optimize it, because like Fortnite is on UE5, but it runs on everything, right? We can run it on our ROG
Yeah.
allies, but a lot of UE5 games struggle. So hopefully they have the technical ability to have it be a well optimized port, and then the new Halo Next campaign and everything they're doing will be really well going. But I mean, I just hope we get it before Helix or before midway through the generation. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's just so sad how long games take to make now. But
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think like another studio that we can look at, RGG, right? As well as you can look at like Capcom with using the RE engine and stuff like that. It's like once the and this is what I thought was going to happen with Slipspace with Halo, because like they had like been working on an engine. And it's like once you can fine tune and really get something that is the groundwork, and like, okay, this is established now, we can just pump out games, we can pump out content. That never materialized with Halo Infinite the way I thought it was going to. And maybe because Slipspace was too built around too old of a foundation, and it was clunky with other people coming into work. UB5 also kind of has that thing where I don't see a lot of Unreal games being made super quickly. I know
Yeah.
that all of these advertisements that they have, all these shows that they have, all this marketing that they have for all their tools, and a lot of the tools are great, like Fidelity FX, FSR. A lot of these things are amazing. They spent a lot of time talking about Nanite and all this other kind of stuff originally. But it seems like a lot of UE games are like one-off projects from studios, and then they go into something else. Whereas these studios that have these internal engines that they're super familiar with, that's all they use, and all that kind of stuff, they're like able to crank these things out because now the games may all kind of look similar, may all kind of the same kind of vibe. But if people are digging it, people are loving it, then that's like fine. Like we'll talk about Stranger Than Heaven yet later, but we see stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, like these studios really are clicking in all cylinders with their internal stuff, and um, maybe they can get to that point with Unreal, you know, but like Coalition takes a long time still to make a freaking Gears game,
Yep.
and they're like one of the best at Unreal, so
It's
it's
gonna be interesting. I don't even know what the gold standard is of post-release content right now. Like it's killing Arc Raiders, right? Everyone's mad it took them 5 months to do one map. I know Jez talked a lot about Halo specifically, and he said he talked to some people on how broken content like cycle was, where just to get one map approved was like 15 rounds of QA and then back to the contractors and all this horrible stuff. So hopefully with Asha's plans that'll get streamlined, because I do feel like you can see it, right? You see these ball pit games, you see the Balatro, you see these other smaller games where they can just push content out, Vampire Survivors, super quick because it's not 80 committees it has to go through. So I know she said she was doing forward facing like automation team that can automate processes that are repeatable. I think that's the kind of stuff that this needs to go through. So
yeah,
just like, hey, I have a great idea for content, let's build it, and then it instead of it taking 3 or 4 months for one map, we can do it in 3 or 4 weeks. And I think she's on the right path, man.
yeah,
They've got a chance, especially with all the bad news going on, which I guess hate. I mean, not to talk about it, but Star Fox was interesting. It's been an interesting reaction to Star Fox Online. I thought it looked great, but then everyone's mad about it. So I guess it wasn't the hit that I thought it would be. So
yeah. I mean,
Xbox can capitalize.
yeah, I think the reveal for Star Fox yesterday was massive. Like it just because it came out of the blue, and it kind of, the metrics on the reveal and stuff for Star Fox was just insane. But with that, I think more so the controversy is just over the character designs, more than anything else.
Well, it's said it's a 64 remake for the fourth time instead
Yeah.
of something new.
So
So that's what everyone was so excited for yesterday. And then today I woke up and it was just like, are we really remaking this again? So kind of interesting. But all I'm saying, the whole point of that is Xbox, if they don't step on rakes, man, they've got all the mind share right now. Everybody's talking about them every day, and they can do the right thing if they can just get out ahead of it all.
yeah, and they're doing stuff that's like not necessarily necessary, but still cool for like the whole splash screen thing. You know what I mean? So we
A new
all
boot
like,
up.
yeah, we all like were, hey, we love the green, we love the energy that is kind of revitalizing, bringing back the like spirit of what Xbox is with that green glass logo, right? And hey, somebody said, hey, we going to turn this into a dynamic theme? She said, yeah, we're in the works on that. It's already out, And then now all of a sudden, hey, we got a new boot up screen. Like I don't recall any generation ever having a boot up screen switch up in the middle of the generation.
I agree. I don't think. I mean, we've had the blades switch on 360, the UI, but
Yeah.
never a boot up. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean the boot up thing like is interesting, and I know it's a small simple thing, but every time you turn on the Xbox, that's the first thing you see, you know. And what is that? What is that impression? Is it this corporate feeling logo, or is it the green energized, return to Xbox feeling they're trying to promote now? And I think even something like as simple as that, it just projects the idea of what they're trying to do now. Um, it's almost like, it's a revitalization of energy into the brand, as much as it is like we have to sell more games. It's like one, we have to get people excited for it to sell more games. That's the right
Yeah.
approach. You know what I mean? As opposed to, hey, we just need to be as many places as we can, and it's gonna work out. Like this approach is like bringing back the identity of what Xbox was originally, and you have to start somewhere. I know a lot of people were making a big deal about the people that she brought in was a lot of people from her former teams that she's worked with in the past. A lot of them are
Yeah.
for her core AI team at Microsoft. There was somebody also from Instacart as well. Um, because it's like, hey, Xbox is just going all AI, all this kind of stuff. Obviously she came from core AI. I think she's already. We should already give her that goodwill based on the things that she's doing, that she understands what the fans want and is trying to understand what the fans want, right? But I don't see those people being brought in to like just transform Xbox into a like AI machine. In fact, they announced yesterday they were getting rid of co-pilot development for consoles, and like I think that's a broader Microsoft thing as well, to kind of realize this wasn't hidden, but
Yeah, I think people are reading it wrong. So I think Microsoft is backing out of AI completely. They basically gave OpenAI billions and billions of dollars and realized that they didn't actually have protection in that contract, and now OpenAI is making deals with other companies. It's too deep to go into, but there's a bunch of Windows Central articles about it. But what I see is her bringing her friends over because all of that core AI team's gonna get fired. That's all I see. So
hmm.
Microsoft's just leaving AI because they don't have a good enough market for it. Copilot's failed. They're going to take it out of everything, and everyone's just going to use ChatGPT and whatever else on their Windows PCs, and that's fine. But for me, I just see it as like, hey, these are my friends that I've worked with. I'm going to bring them over because that team's going to get gutted soon.
Well, I mean, I think too, just from a technical standpoint, so those moves coincide. Also, Jason Ronald had a promotion, right? Um,
Yeah.
and another promotion. I think this is like his second or third one in the last like 5 or 6 years. Um, so he has a promotion. He's going to be like responsible for Helix, pretty much, is what it was, how it was put. But also the people that she brought in, part of the things that she's been saying is fixing some of the core foundational issues with the way that the back end stuff is structured, like for developers, for search, for like discoverability, and I think a lot of that ties in with like the storefront, just how stuff works in the back end, right? And
Yeah.
those are a lot of the things that just are kind of quirky and don't work as well as they should sometimes, I think the people that she's bringing in are here to fix the foundational structure issues of some of the technology that's missing from the Xbox team, right? I think those people are going to come in, kind of assess like, how do we streamline all this to make us more fast and fluid, and not have all this stuff, because some of, you go back to our manifesto thing, one of the bullet points was, I can't remember the exact words, but it was like speed before perfection, basically, is what she was saying, right?
Yeah. Core
And
before more, and yeah.
yeah, and what the speed before perfection thing was like, that spoke to me because specifically of Halo Infinite, right? That thing you were talking about, and I remember seeing the interviews with like the developers talking about what it takes to make a map, and in defense of themselves not being able to get the content out. And I was like, why does it take that? It's like, I was reading it, being like, this is a problem. Like, you guys are defending it, saying this is, hey, this is harder than you guys think it is. And I was like, no, you're making it harder than it needs to be. Somebody is making it harder than it needs to be. I don't know who's making it harder than it needs to be, but it doesn't need to go through all these steps. We
Yeah.
can just release content, release maps, and keep the community happy. Like, you see something like Crimson Desert launched, had issues with people at launch where they wanted things fixed and addressed, and the things they didn't like, they were pumping out like updates like left and right. And if something doesn't work, they fix it on the fly. And this was kind of like it's kind of like the way it should be with gaming. Like, you can't go through like 4 months of testing on something for content updates. Like, it
Yeah.
just
Yeah, exactly.
like, you're not serving anybody there, I don't think, unless it's like, you're doing like a 2.0 type launch or something like that, and you're really trying to change everything. But like, you got to keep that pipeline flowing, and you got to realize not everything is going to hit, but
Yep.
there will be things that are going to hit. Some people are going to like certain things more than others, and nothing is perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. No game is perfect. 10 out of 10s aren't perfect, right? So I think that mentality is very important. Welcome to the show, Fuzzy Belvedere. How's it going, bro?
Going great. Glad to be here with you guys. Yeah, it's just Xbox is moving at I wouldn't say a record pace, but they're definitely
Oh yeah,
speeding things up as far as how they're working on fixes and so forth. So yeah, it's good to see.
yeah, chugging, man. They are like, it's like, I kind of look at it like, okay, so let's say Xbox is a train, you know, right? And at the end of the Phil Spencer Sarah Bond era, there was some obstacles in the road, and they had to slow down. And it takes a while for a train to slow down and come to a stop, you know. And then somebody comes in. It's like, okay, transition, let's go. Like, you would expect that train to take a lot longer to be going at full speed. But like, this is like she's like riding a bullet train here, bro. like the amount of updates and content, she is doing that whole speed before perfection. Because I guarantee you, all of these even these little things that are these updates, like the backgrounds, the boot up screens, the other changes. These are things that would have gone through, like, well, let's market research this, let's focus group that, let's send this to this team and see what they think of it. We need to have another check and balance here. We need to have another check and balance here. She's like, no, let's just do this. Let's do this. Hey, you guys do this. You guys do this, man. And I love that, man. It's like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. And the momentum, I think, is going to carry forward, because with the energy revitalization, you also have content coming. Like, it would be one thing, let's say that we were rolling into 2022 and they were trying to do this revitalization, and they were like, the only thing coming was Redfall. They'd be like, that'd be kind of hard to do, right? But we have lots of great games coming. Starting in a week, early access is going to hit for Forza Horizon 6, which I know you are super fucking pumped for, Fuzzy.
Oh yeah.
People are
Yeah.
reviewing it now.
I just redeemed my 50,000 points to buy the premium upgrade, so I'm ready to go.
Nice, bro. Sea Lord of Bravo says you're trying hard to catch up with some 1.75 speed. Only 13 minutes behind now. What do we sound like on that? Hey, Calarie, what do you think about those Halo updates? I don't know, Mav. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a shot. Gauntlet looks pretty good. Speaking of Halo, Fuzzy, I don't know if you heard, but tomorrow night we're gonna do Halo like community night, and we're gonna try and make it a thing. If it goes well, or whatever, might try and do it like Friday nights again, like we used to back in the day. So I don't know if you remember those, but
Yeah.
it would be pretty damn fun, if you're free to hop in. I'm gonna harass 3-bit to see if I can't get him in there as well. Like I said, I'll see what Jasper's doing. I don't know. I doubt we'll be able to get Pong to play, I'll send him a DM just to see. He did make an
Mhm.
appearance on Twitter today.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah. Yeah, I had already been I DM with him occasionally, off and on, but like, he made a post that he wanted like a gift card or whatever, and he had to like make like some post for the entry or whatever to. And somebody was like, "Did he get hacked?" Because it's like the first post he made in months. And it was like, I don't know, man. So I just reached out to him again. But yeah, no, he's good. But he did say he's going to try and make it to the summer showcase stream.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you meant in person. I was like,
No, no, no.
sweet.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing good, Def. Yeah, but he might be able. Hopefully, he still has an issue with his PC. So it's a probably a power supply issue. So he's trying to fix that. But if he can get his PC up and running, maybe seeing some Pong Soul on the summer showcase stream.
I have a spare 800 watt one right here. I could send it to him.
Oh yeah, there's a power supply.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have 3 extra ones in my office, but I didn't know
Oh
he had a power supply issue.
yeah,
We'll talk
I'll
about that later.
yeah. Yeah, we think it's a power supply issue. He's hoping it's a power supply issue because beyond that, it's like if that doesn't work, then what is the problem? But yeah, he's doing good, and
Good.
although he did warn me, guys, like he hasn't been super happy with a lot of this like Xbox showings for games and stuff, and some of the studio things. So yeah, and I remember it was like kind of around that time. Some of the thoughts on some of the games and stuff he wasn't as super positive on, like Fable specifically and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting when he does show up again at some point to get his thoughts on just like the return to Xbox, and what his feelings are on like Asha Sharma and how things are going now for sure. But yeah, man, Halo Infinite. We are going to be giving it a go. Lots of Halo content on the way as well, like with games. Do you think
Well,
there's something?
they're working on the next one, right?
Yes, yeah,
Didn't
exactly.
they just make a rumor on that recently? So I'm hoping we get to see a glimpse of it at the June showcase. It would make perfect sense because I think that's how they did it with Infinite. It was like maybe a year or so out or 2 years out when they showed the animals and the background and the environment and stuff, and then they showed the combat stuff like the following year. But it'd be nice to see something this June.
Yeah, we gotta have something Halo at this showcase.
I could imagine they show like Combat Evolved or the remake, and then right after that go into the new game.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be
okay, so
sweet.
this will be when does Combat Evolve release?
It's after it, right? Isn't it like August?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the rumor. It's supposedly leaked, but I don't. They haven't confirmed it, but it's more than likely sometime August.
So let's say we have a showing of this, right? And
July
then
28th.
Oh, okay.
do we get any other Halo announcements if they're showing off the remake, or do they not want to overshadow themselves?
I think you show the remake and say it's coming out in a month, and then right after that you go into the next game
Like
and say
Halo
like
2
20,
remake
2026. No, I don't know. I don't know
or
how
Halo
far away
next.
the
Halo Next is what
next
is
campaign
being.
is.
Yeah,
I was just say I would hope that these campaign remakes for 2 and 3 don't take 2 years each, right? They should be like if you've built the UE engine already for 1, you just make 2 and 3. I don't know. Hopefully a little bit quicker.
would be cool if if like Halo 1, 2, and 3 back to back years. That
I
would
would
that would
even
be
like
pretty sick.
love to. Yeah, I would think they have to be out by the end of next year, and then you have the new game 2028 at the latest. But
It's gonna be interesting to
'cause
see
it's
how
been
it
Especially
what?
for
feels.
Helix.
That'd be 7 years since Halo Infinite, because 2021 to 2028. Like they got it.
Yeah,
That's too long, man.
yeah, way damn too long. And there was
Yeah.
also like more turmoil things going on supposedly at the studio with the one guy leaving, and he's like throwing people under the bus after he left, and about culture and stuff like that. I don't know what all happened. All these kind of things, I always kind of take it as like they're gonna handle themselves outside. Like public opinion, I don't think it helps either case in this scenario. I'm not a huge fan of people when they leave studios airing their dirty laundry out to the public to try and throw shade or to draw criticism back to the studio and the teams that they work for. However, sometimes it can be justified, right? I don't. Sometimes it can be justified. Sometimes somebody feels like they're wrong. That's the only way to get things out. However, when you work at a place for like 15, 20 years and there's changes going on, there's going to be like clashing, you know? Like it happens with any profession. If you are somebody that's been established in a position at a job for a long period of time, you get used to the way things are, the used to the way things work, the people around you, you know. Yeah, things change a little bit here and there over time. Now you have somebody else take over, right? A revitalization completely, somebody else in charge that's changing everything the way they work. That always creates friction with people that were left behind and people that were there. Some people adapt better than others. Some people are stubborn, right? And I don't know the situation exactly that happened there this time, but I think we'll all have to actually wait and see the results of the games before we criticize the culture, because I remember things from like Rockstar with the making of Red Dead Redemption 2 about the culture in the studio, the crunch, the all these things, man. And whether it's right or wrong, man, they delivered one of the best fucking games of all time. And I think everybody on that team, regardless of what they went through, can be proud after the fact saying, I helped make that, you know? And maybe some of them got more credit than they deserve. Maybe other ones don't get as much credit as they should. That's also goes with par for the course with gaming. But yeah, it's something that I always take with a grain of salt when I hear these people that leave a studio and then all of a sudden have all these bad things to say publicly about them. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
agree with that.
Ron Slusher said, "I'm currently playing Gears 4, very underrated." That's I think. Do you guys think Halo and Gears are in the same kind of position because they've both been gone for so long in one way? Like Gears had Reloaded last year, but like let's just be honest, it didn't really like. It's not like everybody was screaming, "Oh my God, Gears Reloaded is here!" and everybody. It didn't take the video game world by storm or anything like that. But you have Gears E-Day hitting.
I,
Is
I
that
think
is that going to bring the
Gears
energy back?
Yeah, I just for me, I don't know about. I know there's people that love the multiplayer, but it was always even the first game. It was the campaign was super good, and then a little bit of the multiplayer for like a month or two. But Halo to me is always going to be like that can be a forever multiplayer game. That's always good. But it's just so hard with 50 live service games that how are you supposed to decide which one you keep playing?
Yeah,
I think the only way that you keep these games sticking around is you make something new, make a new genre. Have E-Day like advance what Horde mode is, make a new version that no one's done before. And Halo needs to make some version of a roguelike BR that no one's ever done,
yeah.
or something like that. But that's my thoughts on it.
Shout out to Mac22TH54 with the $5. Says nearly 100 of us in here and only 35 likes. Come on, people, wipe your feet, hit the like button. Yo, thanks, Mac. Appreciate it. Yeah, hit the like button, share out, notification bell, subscribe if you're not subbed to the channel. All that stuff greatly helps us grow. If you're listening on audio, hey, leave a review if you like the show as well. Appreciate all of you for watching or listening. You rock. Something that it's interesting that you mentioned Calorie, and I want to ask Fuzzy about this. Was the you're right. Like there's 50 live service games out there. You know, like traditionally, when a multiplayer game came out, it was like, okay, there was like a single player game that had a multiplayer component to it. You know, like back in the day, you had like Halo. You know, Call of Duty, Gears, right? Um, those were some of the biggest multiplayer games at that time. You had things like Splinter Cell, it had Spies versus Mercs, you know, and these are all fan beloved things. Like the multiplayer was definitely necessary there because it created longer term engagement. It created more conversation, created more of a community around these games, as besides just playing the campaign and being done with it. Um, but it's almost like gamers, because of live service games, have also shifted our way of thinking. Like a multiplayer game isn't successful unless it lasts for like 5 years and has 100,000 people concurrent playing it at all times, and that's what the game becomes, and it grows and just never stops. You know what I mean? Whereas that would be the case, I think, for one of those just live service, free to play only multiplayer experiences, because that's the only way you make money, right? But traditionally, like these games were $70 or $60 games back then. Now they're $70 games now, you know. And I mean, do they have to have? Well, let's say Gears E Day comes out. It has a great multiplayer, right? Let's say like Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3 all had great multiplayers, right? But and even though people were still playing them for years, it wasn't like what we see today on like Fortnite and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like we think of it that way because we were all playing it and we were the hardcore community that was into it. But it's not like we were expecting constant fucking updates. We weren't expecting like every 3 weeks to have something brand new to experience and have like the player base keep growing a year after year after year. Like it was more of like, hey, this was a part of that game. We loved it. We enjoyed it for a certain amount of time. There's people that stuck, a very small niche community that stuck around and played way beyond for years. But then we were ready for the next one, and then we played the next one, and we played the next one, you know? And people are still playing these games multiplayers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they still stand the test of time, but that's not what drives the success of those games. You know? So like let's say Gears E Day comes out and it has a good multiplayer component. 6 months later, it has on, let's say people look it up on Steam because this is what everybody does, concurrent player count. It has, oh, there's like 875 people playing on Steam, right? That will be treated like an L.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not trying to be that kind of game necessarily. It's a campaign that also has multiplayer. And we've lost the plot as gamers, I think, to appreciate those kind of titles.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, what is it? Space Marine was probably the more recent one that kind of fits into that ballpark of just
100%.
being a single player and a multiplayer, and then after maybe a month or two, you're kind of done with it. They still had some updates to it, but it wasn't meant to be something that people are playing 5 years later and you have 20,000 concurrent players on Steam.
It just
It
gives you
was
another
just meant
reason to
to
buy
be,
it, right? Like another reason to added value,
yeah.
replayability.
So it's definitely a different time when it comes to, sorry about that. It's definitely a different time when it comes to like multiplayers versus these games as a service or live service games. I kind of hope people stop mixing the two or blurring the lines between the two. Um, if something's meant to be a live service, like let's just say, for example, Marathon, it was meant to be a live service game. It's not doing as well as one might hope in that realm. Now, does it have niche type of player group that they were looking for. I'm pretty sure, but it didn't seem to break mainstream. But if you were to make a Destiny 3, well, there's going to be the co-op and multiplayer aspect and PvP aspect. Let's just say that would be one where you would probably want to measure its success as far as how many copies sold if they don't do it a free to play right out the rip. But measure how many copies sold, and then as each expansion comes out, see how many of the expansions go. But I wouldn't necessarily look at the concurrent players a year later, although those do tend to that those multiplayer games do tend to last a little bit longer than your more traditional multiplayer. But yeah, it's a blurred line market right now when it comes to these live service games. Like when E-Day comes out, if people are really checking concurrent players 6 months after, I think they're wasting their time focusing on those types of nuggets, or trying to get the coalition to constantly do updates. Like it'd be great if they add more maps, more skins, but after 6 months, it's not really expected to be a continuous thing. Now, Halo, because they did that split between
Yeah.
Infinite and the multiplayer, it was a little bit of a different story. It was almost like looking at like a regular Call of Duty versus Warzone kind of thing, on how they kind of separated that out. Where, all right, we're going to do seasons, a season pass, and so forth. I don't really expect like your old school single player multiplayer to have a season pass, but Diablo has it,
Yeah.
well, it has its own version of seasons, and it's still addicting, and it's one of those things where some of the updates we're happy about, some of the updates not so much, but
I was
once
gonna
again,
bring
it's
that
kind of a
up.
different animal.
I was gonna bring up Diablo because I feel like for flagship franchises, you kind of just have to go with the Diablo model, right? Like it's basically
Yeah.
episodic, but they don't call it that. But the story progresses over time. You add new content, and it keeps people engaged. I think for smaller games like a Kiln or even like an offshoot maybe of Gears or Halo, you can have that one-off purchase and the game stays what it is. But I don't know. I would rather have every 6 months there's something new or exciting. I don't know how often the Diablo stuff comes out. Maybe it's more like every year, but there's something new
Not
coming out for.
even like those expansions are like every 2 years. The major expansions, it seems like. When was Vessel of Hatred? Was it like 2023 or 2024? I mean, 5. I don't know.
I think it was
2024.
24. I think
24.
so.
Yeah. So this is the second biggest one, but even that, every 2 years to have something that majorly revitalizes the community, you know,
Yeah,
is is cool. And that's kind of what I thought they're gonna do with Infinite with campaign content, you know.
that's what it needed to be. Yeah, and then I just think they should be looking to with the way Diablo does to like find a way to integrate the story with the multiplayer. I was kind of thinking something like Division, right? Because Division,
Mm,
you have a new expansion comes out, and you have the what are they called? Fuzzy, I know you played a lot like the Dark Zones, where the multiplayer
yeah.
happens, but that's the model that I think they need to go forward with. If they want to keep the Game Pass model around, because I just bought the Diablo expansion. That's not in Game Pass, right? So that's how you can get a little bit more value out of your Game Pass subscribers is you get the base game and then the expansions come out and you get to pay for those ones. But I don't know what I'd want. I for me personally, I think I'd rather have, E-Day come out and then every year or two we get an expansion that makes the game worth coming back to, and then 5 or 6 years later we get the next Gears game or however long it takes, instead of just we play it for 2 months and it's done and we forget about it. I just started the Indiana Jones Order of the Giants 2 hours ago, and I was playing it. It was so good, but like they'd have to do a better way of like the DLC is good, play the DLC, because I don't think a lot of people even touched it
Yeah.
for their games.
And that becomes like what's worth the expansions to them if like people aren't going back and playing it. And I think it depends on the game, right? But uh, and I remember the marketing, the Order of the Giants, but like it didn't. I don't think it got out to the mainstream enough. You know, it was just kind of like a part of their shows. part of their little
Yep.
showcase things, a little trailer in the middle of it. And it's like somehow there's got to be a way to market some of these things better. Diablo has a massive community behind it, so that's gonna happen anyway. But they have these like the roundtable things. They have the community where they're talking to the community constantly. Something like Indiana Jones doesn't really necessarily have that because it's not designed as like a multiplayer experience. It's a single player game, you know. So it's not going to be speaking to the community constantly, looking for, as much as something like Diablo, and keeping things like alive in that sense. So it's like this game came out 2 years later. Or a year later. Here's a massive content update expansion, and it's like people. I think at that point were like, I'm already played Indiana Jones. I don't, It's just kind of was their thinking, but it has to be almost presented as a new game. Like it has to be
Yeah.
treated as a new game almost, even if it's an expansion. Um, you look at like for example, what Sony and PlayStation did with Miles Morales, right? That
Yep.
was DLC that ended up becoming its own game,
Yeah.
right? And I remember one of the first. This was one of the first things that had covered on our channel was when they were doing that kind of stuff, and I remember thinking they were like how fucked up it was, but they were geniuses for tricking everybody
Yep.
into this because they sold basically Spider-Man remastered with the DLC for $70,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And instead, it was or you can buy Miles Morales separately at 50, you know what I mean? And then buy the remastered version of Spider-Man for like 20 or 30 or whatever it was. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was like, wow, they just really pulled one over everybody to get $50 out of this content.
Yeah, and but the DLC is so different, and that's what Xbox needs to work on because Order of the Giants to start it, it literally just tells you to go talk to a priest next to a fountain in the game that you already have a save data in.
Yeah.
And Starfield was kind of the same, but like make them like a separate load, and that has a opening credits and a whole experience. The other game PlayStation did that with was that Uncharted game where you play as the two women. That was the 4 hour game. It was just basically DLC. I don't remember. I think it was Two Thieves or something. But they just need to push those better. And I agree with you. They should be a big deal. And it's like they have their own credits. They have their own tile on your home screen,
Yeah.
and just make it a big deal
Yeah.
because they're
It
a separate SKU.
I have to like obviously they have to work on like how to like okay, how do these people launch the game? Like how is it like, you know, you're launching a separate entity, so you have to have the whole, it comes with game design too. You can't just link it into the thing that you already have necessarily. But I would say somehow Diablo blends the two ideas together in a very interesting way because when they do these content updates to these expansions like Vessel of Hatred or the newest one is Lord of Hatred, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, it comes across as like this massive new Diablo content slash title almost with how much they marketed around that. Whereas it doesn't feel as much as like an expansion. It feels like a new Diablo experience, you know? So it's
Another
interesting,
one
man.
that does Another one that does it well is Forza, as far as making it a whole new map. Or you can start the regular game. Well, it's still within the game, but you can either quickly, drive to that location on the map, or you can go into the menu and then fast travel to the new location. Like when they did the Baja stuff, basically it didn't really change it completely, but there were a good bit differences between that and like the regular game. So that was another one that I kind of feel they did well with the expansion being a whole new location, new look, as far as the overall. Same thing with Hot Wheels, stuff like that. But to try and do something like that with like with Gears. I think what was that expansion that they did called
Hive Busters.
Eyes
Yeah.
Busters? That
So
was
good.
a pretty good way of differentiating the two, new
Yes.
characters, new storyline kind of thing. I think if they could, do more like that, like I'm still to this day, and ever since Blam said it, you know, have a horror version of Halo with the Flood on one of the rings or something like that. Like you can have the traditional story and stuff, but make the expansion or the DLC like a horror or almost like a Dead Space kind of thing with the Flood, and I think that would be a interesting way to get people back into the game. A little bit different, outlook as far as compared to the regular campaign. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would probably be interested in hop back in that way, and if it's a separate DLC, purchase it. If it's not included in like you know, Game Pass unless you do like the premium or ultimate edition or something like that. So
Yeah.
I really wonder if Hive Busters would have sold better if it was like Gears 5 colon Hive Busters and it was its own tile on your Xbox. Because like you had to buy it separate. It's not in Game Pass. It's just an interesting idea because it is its own experience. It has nothing to do with the original game. But making me load into Gears 5, which feels like an old game, and then click campaign and then click Hive Busters to load a new experience, it just maybe I'm weird, but I don't like it. I'd
No,
rather
you're
Miles Morales was fresh and new, and I had to go buy the Blu-ray copy from Best Buy and put it in my PS5.
right. Like I thought like you're onto something there because I thought like Hive Busters was the path for having this like episodic content for Gears. Because I could just imagine like, hey, every like 6 months or so, get like a new episode or something of Hive Busters with that team. Their next thing, what's the next thing, and then that would have, and along the way, maybe you have like a multiplayer that's tied to it that keep adding elements to each update, and that would have been something that would have been awesome to see as a separate game, like just Gears Hive Busters. Like I think that could have been a massive thing, but um, it just kind of came and went, you know. Although the people that played it loved it, right? But Gears 5
That's
had already
good.
been out for a few years at that point. So it's
It's I
interesting,
think
man.
that's this idea they want to tie it that you have to own the original game, and so like they have to put it in that game. But I think that's the wrong viewpoint. Make them all standalone $30 small titles instead of $20 in-game DLCs, and make it. It's just everything we've talked about with Asha. Just make everything experience, everything's marketing, everything's mindshare, everything's zeitgeist, and like instead of this old game got a DLC, it's brand new game in the same universe. And I think that's something they could work on, but maybe they'll watch us and hear us. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, like and also like it goes back to our earlier conversation about like speed before perfection, but also like something like RGG does, and like also so RGG with Sega, and then also like Capcom does with their engines is they're able to get out this content so damn fast. New things just constantly. There's like a new Yakuza game every fucking year.
Yep.
They're not small games, right? They're big games. And yeah, they may look similar, but they all tell original new stories, and they all introduce new ideas, new mechanics that weren't in other titles before. And like if you take that same approach where these teams get really comfortable and familiar with the tools that they're working with, then they can speed up and you can make those things like Fuzzy was talking about, like the horror flood game. You can make like it may be like a ODST SWAT style game. Like you can make another game where you play as the Covenant or the Banished or something, or like you could do all different kinds of ideas within that. But like the speed and efficiency of creating games has to improve as opposed to like every 7 years you start from scratch, tear everything down and build from the ground up. You got the studio in half and got to rehire and like all these things. Use the this was my core thing when they let all those people go originally was like utilize the talent that you have, just have them used in a better way. And like, because people are the creators of the content. You lose the people, then you don't have the power to create things, and the more people means the more things you can create. It depends on how it's being managed and utilized. And I think they had overhired, but instead of correcting things in the sense that they just downscaled and cut a lot of the fat and all this other kind of stuff. I think there was a lot of talent that they lost that could have been utilized if it steered in different directions. But it takes the right oversight and the right management within that. And I don't know who exactly is responsible for each individual studio making sure that they're doing what they got to do. You would think it'd be Matt Booty, right? But at the time, it didn't seem like there was any. It seemed like it was so hands off. You know, it just seemed like, hey, this is like all you guys do all this stuff, and oh shit, this doesn't look as good as we thought it was gonna do. Let's go back to the drawing board on this. Or oh shit, this happened. Oh, let's go back to the drawing board on this. Oh, Redfall came out. Oh, this was actually bad. I didn't even know. Like how did those things kind of keep happening at that time, and that's all part of the image and the brand damage that was done over the last generation. Whereas things have been so good, and in some ways, these things kept happening, and those are the rakes. So, you know, man, just the have people directed in the right ways to most utilize what's best for the brand, the companies, the developers, the gamers, most of all. And I think more Halo games is definitely in their interest as well as ours. So they just got to figure out how to make that happen. Um, Speaking of RGG, I had made a post, Fuzzy, like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. You saw it, I know, because I got flack from other people on Twitter about this too. Because I was just thinking, like, we have this whole reinvigoration of the Xbox brand right now, the energy, the changes, the fan service, and all this stuff. But then I was still looking back at our conversation last week about why didn't Ninja Gaiden 4 sell? Why didn't Doom the Dark Ages sell? These games that were good, that were received well from their audiences, games that were like been talked about, a lot. Like why didn't these games sell as well as they should have? And I couldn't come up with an answer. And like, I'm not saying anything is necessarily wrong with the developer directs, because I love the developer directs that Xbox does. I think Tina Amini does a great job. In fact, in my post, I said I really like the directs. Um, Amber Alert. But I do wonder, like, how much of the mass fans they reach with that style of broadcasting, because it is like very corporatized in a way. Like it's like interviews with this person, hey, it's like very scripted, you know like saying things that, like, it's like they're reading a script to be cheeky about the games that they're playing on, in their studio, which is cool. I like seeing this shit. I really do. I find the dev directs super entertaining. You get to see the inside on the games. You get to see the games, but I think it's lacking a little bit of the spirit and the energy of the games themselves in those directs, to where it's like not reaching the core fans that it could have if it didn't come across as like this kind of corporate esque themed thing. Now, people are like, I love the directs, don't change it, don't change it, don't change it. That's what everybody said, right? And I get it, like, that's fine. I'm just looking at, like, maybe taking the directs and adding some more pizzazz to them, more style, aggressiveness, to capture the energy of what the games are about, not just have the people talking about them. And I think we got that yesterday.
With
Strain
Star Fox.
No,
else.
not Star Fox. So Tina Meany, this was her first Xbox Presents. This was a new format that she was unveiling for the marketing of Stranger Than Heaven, which is a game made by RGG, and it's coming to Game Pass day and date in this winter. Right? What does this winter mean? I don't know. Could be December. Could be this winter means this winter, but this winter also doesn't necessarily mean 2026. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe January. Like I would say, any time between December and February, early February, right? But they revealed this game, and they had this new format, and I knew that they were gonna have this thing, the reveal, because they've done different things, marketing of different games before. I mean, I watched this, and I was like, holy shit, this is exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Like, the whole thing was just so stylized and aggressive with Stranger Than Heaven, and I was like, wow, this is just a master class of, like, fucking marketing a game in general. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, guys, go watch the Xbox Presents Stranger Than Heaven. Because you had interviews with the cast of actors. You had the talking about the story, of the game. You had talking about locations, but you also had this, like, the whole theme of the design with all the jazz and the setting, the lighting. They weren't necessarily like, here we are in blah 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 at blah 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 studios, and we are here talking about this game, and yeah, this has been something that we've been working on for many years, and we really want to bring it to the fans. It's kind of comes across corporate speak. This was like, we're telling a story of Yakuza in the over 50 years, and it's like, talk about the core heart, just what is the game, And I love the way they presented it, man. Full of style, aggressive, and something like that leaves I think more of a lasting impression. So with it kind of matches the energy of what they're trying to do. Now, I think they should do it with their first party games, not just the third party games, right? Because, like, if there's a gear, what's the dev direct after the summer showcase? It's the Gears, right?
Yeah, E-Day.
Man, I almost want to see them in fucking, like, some crazy dark setting for that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see the theme around it represented in the way they're talking about things, representative of Gears, not like, we're in this bright studio, talking about why we made this game. I want to know what the game is. So, Fuzzy, did you watch Stranger Than Heaven's Xbox Presents yesterday?
Oh yeah. And you're spot on when it comes to, like, the difference in how they approached it. Talking to the actors, or the actual, I guess, well, yeah, the actors that were playing the characters, and focusing on their story, I think was a nice twist on how they normally do things. Normally, it's more so, like you said, kind of an overview of the story. Um, the developers will talk about the scenery, maybe a timeline, a little bit of the story, but they don't get into the details of what makes this character interesting, or why this character is going to be your main focal point, or why this character will be your go-to person throughout the story point. So that was a nice little change. But I don't know if that format works for every type of game, but it definitely sold this game. Like, before, I was kind of like, okay, this will be kind of another Yakuza, like a dragon kind of game. I always kind of referred to it as Yakuza Old Country, because it felt like it was doing a Yakuza story, but like the way Mafia did Old Country kind of thing. They definitely sold it a lot better with this direct. And whatever change that Tina decided to make on this, on how she approached it, I think if she does that with something like Clockwork Revolution, or or any of the other upcoming big titles, I would love to see it. You know, I would say my only complaint, and it's a nitpick more so than a complaint, and it's not something that I care about, but it's something for this back to Xbox move that would probably seal the deal for a lot of people, is don't show the PS5 logo.
Yeah.
But that's not that big of a deal. But I would say, if anything, that's about the only thing I would change of what they did for that show. They talked to the director. They talked to some of the team that made the game. They had a second one that was more focused on the team today, or earlier today, that was primarily in Japanese, but they went over some of the additional beats in the game, just different shots or different scenes. But the way they did it yesterday, I think that was kind of like what you said, a masterclass of how you do a showcase on the game. And for anybody that may have been on the fence, I think this is the way you sell a game for anybody that has even the slightest question or doubt. I mean, it's awesome that it's coming to Game Pass day and date, as far as for Game Pass Ultimate. But at this point, I would wind up picking it up day one anyway. But I'm going to wind up picking it up at some point, whether it's 30 days later because of the sale, with it being in Game Pass or what have you. But I will own this game because they sold me on the story and interviewing the characters, and the fact that Snoop Dogg is going to be in it. It's going to be kind of funny, but
yeah, man. Snoop Dogg's in there. Like Tori Kelly is in there. You have there's a Japanese artist as well that I don't remember his name, but he's a big deal, I guess, because they kept talking about him after. Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's in there too." And then you have, like, they had the voice actors that played the main characters, the two main characters, show up. The way they're talking about it, I like when they actually show up and, like, you can tell they're kind of behind what the vision is as well. It's not just like, yeah, this is just a gig. I mean, maybe they're acting as they're talking to us, you know, as well. But besides, it seems like everybody's into this project, you know, and it, dude, like, the game looks badass, right? But more so than any of the Yakuza games I've seen. Like, I love what I've played of the Yakuza franchise, but I haven't been super excited for a specific game as opposed to how excited I am for this game, which apparently is kind of like a prequel in some ways to it's like a tie-in, but it not 100%, you know, it's its own standalone thing. I like how they tied in how music is a big part of the game. They talk about two friends over the span of 50 years and how, you know, things happen. You're going over to multiple locations. Um, it just oozes style, man. Like, this game just looks absolutely awesome, and I'm sold on it too. And I forgot, honestly, Fuzzy, that it was going to Game Pass until when they said it, you know. And I was like, oh my god, like, that's a big get.
Yeah.
For Game Pass day and date to have RGG's brand new IP, brand new game, maybe potentially could be one of their best things they've ever made into Game Pass day and date. You got, like, Snoop Dogg in it. You got all these other, like, sold on this project too. You know, they're going to be talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, when this game comes out, you know, Snoop's going to be out there being like, hey, play this shit. You know, like, you got to, you know, it's awesome. But it's, I agree with you on the logo thing. They need to get rid of that shit for the end. But overall, man, it's just like, wow, like, they really nailed that presentation. Tina Mina was making posts about how this was like a new thing for her. She's never done anything this stylized or anything before, you know. I think she hit the nail in the head with this one, and I don't know, like you said, how will it translate to everything? How do you incorporate the essence of a game into the actual production of your showcase for the game? And that's something she's able to do here. I don't know how you do it in every single situation, but I would love to see them try, because it worked in this sense. Did you have a chance to check it out, Calorie?
I didn't watch it, but I would say that the developer direct for Forza Horizon 6 kind of went that way. Like, they had a lot of Japan themed stuff in that. But I'll need to watch it and check. I would say, looking at some numbers, so the 2026 Xbox Showcase had 2.1 million views, The very first partner direct had 1.9, and then every single one since then has had 1.2 million views. So it kind of seems like they're hard stuck. To fix the dev directs or the partner directs, all I would do, keep them exactly the same. You can stylize the interviews if you want, but just stop announcing what's at them before. Because when you watch it, you're like, okay, I know the 4 games they've announced already. Is there going to be a surprise? So for the one surprise game, you're excited. For the 4 games you already know about, you're kind of like, oh, okay. But just don't announce what the game's going to be that's there, and then when it pops up, you're like, oh, cool, it's this one, and then you watch, and then I think that's what Nintendo does so well, right? You never know what's going to be in one of their directs, even if it's old content. It's still like exciting. So, but yeah, I'll need to watch the Stranger Than Heaven. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. It's really good. It's different. It's not like the dev directs. I mean, it is in some ways just because you're speaking to people, right? As well as them talking about the game. But in the whole way it's presented is completely different kind of energy. And I think it matches kind of the essence of what we've talked about this before, is how you like the marketing of the games is like super important. I mean, because things got to be about the games. Like, I love the attention that was put onto this one. I kind of wish the same level of attention was put onto the first party games. With the showcase. So, I understand the dev directs they go into a lot of different. They got to be hard to make. They go through a lot to make those dev directs. Her team does a great job. I just think like this one was. It's the way I want to see a game, like shown. Yeah, it gets me more excited, bro. It just gets me more
Yeah.
excited. I like the like. Okay, I like this for the presentation of showing things off at like a show. But I like the dev directs for like something like that would be more like on a blog, like or just on the YouTube, like, hey, behind the scenes look. We used to get these like behind the scenes look at the development of Fable, behind the scenes look at the development of Forza Horizon 6. Those kind of scream to me about what the dev directs are in general. But the Stranger Than Heaven video was more of like this was pure marketing for the game, like meant for fans, you know, like to scream out why you got to play this game, what this game is. Like it comes with a different energy, man.
If it
What
was
else? Let's see.
received that well, then they should be doing that with every first party game before it comes out.
Yeah, we'll see.
And just have its own special show. Xbox presents Fable out in 1 month or whatever it is.
She did. She made a bit. She was talking about it, how this was different. On social media. So I think she's probably super proud of it and the reaction. But something like Star Fox, it was like what fucking luck for Xbox.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
was that a like purposeful from Nintendo? Because this Star Fox had been leaked before, and they were originally gonna maybe reveal it at a different time, supposedly, and then they didn't. And some are saying it's to spite the leaker and make him seem wrong, and then they reveal it later. But they ended up doing it on the same fucking day that they already knew Xbox was having a presentation for a new game coming to Game Pass. And this is a return of a classic Nintendo IP. Regardless if it's another remake or not. I mean, bro, like I almost
Yeah.
think it was on purpose, like to drown it out.
It definitely, I think, impacted it a lot because that's why I didn't watch it. I was watching all the Star Fox reactions. So, but boys, I'm gonna let you keep going. My wife is yelling at me, so I'm gonna bounce. But,
Oh yeah,
I'll keep
right on,
listening.
man. Thanks, Calorie. Thanks
Thanks.
for hopping in, dude. You have a good one, man.
Yep.
Air Calorie. All right.
Yeah,
So real quick on Star Fox,
yeah,
because you watched it, right?
yes.
How do you feel about the character look? Are we looking at a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of thing, or?
I'm not like. I don't think it's as bad as the original Sonic. I'm not going to go that far. The original Sonic character was just terrifying. Like, I was like, what the hell? Who made that? It seemed like a kindergarten project. Um, but they definitely look off.
Yeah.
They definitely seem like somebody was trying to do too much or something. You know, I don't know how they came up with the final results on that.
Mhm.
However, like how much of an impact will it have? I don't know.
Probably not nowhere near as much as it probably should.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny. I'm like, where's the outrage? But
Yeah.
Nintendo fans, I'm not that much of a Nintendo fan, but I probably will wind up picking it up anyway. But maybe they were spiteful for the fact that that thing, Stranger Than Heaven. There's no way that thing can play on a Switch 2 unless it's like Cloud Play or something. Switch 2s would catch on fire trying to play that game.
Yeah. Like what all was it announced for Stranger Than Heaven? Because I didn't pay attention to the splash screen at the end.
Oh, Xbox console, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud, Steam, and PS5. I don't even think it was for Epic.
Ah, interesting.
So it's like I said, that the PS5 logo is about the only other thing because I don't really equate the Steam logo as being as bad as the PS5 logo. I mean, you could either buy it through Steam or you could buy it through Xbox's PC store or the Windows store or however you want to call it.
Yeah.
I it's Play Anywhere, so I think that would be the better place to get it. But then again, it also depends on if you're looking to do mods, which sometimes mods for the Xbox PC store are a little bit slower than the ones for Steam or not compatible and stuff. But yeah, whatever Tina did for that showcase, replicate that with first party stuff moving forward. Um, there are going to be games, I'm assuming, something that's a little less character driven or story driven. Obviously, she probably won't be able to go into that same type of depth, but I'm pretty sure she could figure something out to keep those just as interesting. And I like Calorie's idea about don't announce the 4 games, announce maybe one of them, like the one that everybody
Mm-hmm.
pretty much knows is going to be there anyway, or maybe what the after show game is going to be. Just let people know, hey, first party is going to have some new games there. Maybe give us a hint on the studio if it's one that has never been announced. You know, like perfect example would be like if Elsewhere, whatever their game is going to be, maybe let people know that Elsewhere is going to be there just for the fact that nobody knows what game they're working on. So hey, all right, so that studio is going to be there, and then whatever the after show game or the game that gets 15 to 30 minutes after the dev direct, announce that game, and that's it. And then let everybody be pleasantly surprised. Although, like you said on previous shows, they gotta squash those leaks. So as long as they do that,
Yeah, for sure. Like I think Star Fox was like, I think Nintendo was like, hey, Xbox has a show. They're like, I don't care, we'll crush them. I think it was kind of like their energy.
mhm.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't like the models. But anyway, as going back to like, Xbox and stuff, I think like the way they show the games ultimately is crazy important. Now, like state of plays have gotten a reputation for being mostly shit with occasionally there's something good, so people keep tuning in because they're hoping for that something good, right? Nintendo Directs run all over the place. You have like Nintendo Directs that are like, hey, there's a little batch of game reveals, and they're all just like, okay, whatever. Then they'll have Nintendo Directs that are focusing on one game. They'll have Nintendo Directs that have like awesome stuff in it. Um, Yesterday was like a surprise thing. It was like, hey, brand new game reveal randomly. That's revitalizing an old franchise, with another remake or whatever. But Xbox is like a new IP that they're presenting, from a classic studio that's a third party studio. And to go all this far and all out on the production of that. Like you could, it's not just like bring a camera somewhere and film them talking about the game. It's like all the video editing for all the clips, having Snoop Dogg there to interview, having Tori Kelly there to interview, having the other people that were all involved with the game there. You have a on some kind of location with an actual jazz band playing constantly. All the special lighting they have to have for all of it. Like this was like it just set a bar, that I hadn't really seen. It kind of reminds me of the way they would market games back in the day, more so when the studios would do more of the marketing themselves and kind of have like different ideas and quirky things, and they would release like lower production, but like they would be trying to be like interesting. Hey, let's like make this our whole video stylized and theme around the game, and I love that the Xbox took this approach on it. I hope they keep that going. But yeah, like I said before, Fuzzy, that's a big get for Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
You know what else turned out to be a big get for Game Pass was Mixtape.
Yeah. 94 Metacritic or something like that.
Yeah, it's like I just checked before we went live, and it's still sitting as a 93 on OpenCritic right now. Let's see what it has on Meta. But like everybody's talking about this game today, about how good it is. People are talking about like, wow, this was a huge surprise. How awesome this game was. It's short but like memorable. It's just like taking social media by storm today about how kind of special this game is.
Is
It's
it
one.
Annapurna or is it
Geez,
Devolver? I think it's Annapurna, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I thought it was from the people that Square. Was it not Square? No. Who makes Mixtape? I'm gonna have to look it up. The publisher, Annapurna. It's Annapurna, because it kind of almost has that like the Life is Strange feel to it a little bit, So that's why I was thinking maybe Square. But yeah, man, like this is one that we've seen a couple times. It stood out the first time it was revealed. It finally is coming out today, and it's one of those like it's kind of put in the back of your mind and you kind of forget about. But it came out, and then I saw the reviews. I mean, you have tens from numerous critic sites. Then you also have a lot of nines as well. So this could be one of those games that wins awards at the end of the year, for sure. Are you gonna be giving Mixtape a go? Is this your kind of thing, or?
Yeah, like Annapurna games are those types of games that they catch you off guard, or at least in the past they have. And there's been a few musical ones, and then the skateboarder one I think they've had not too long ago, where they're great games that are a little bit different, nice story that you you think about all the way through until you finish it, and even after you finish the game, you wind up still thinking about the story and the pace of it, or the journey of the character and stuff. And they're usually pretty good for 1,000 gamer score. So, I think I forget what the one musical one was that I was like, oh, I'm just going to play this for the 1,000 gamer score, and actually really loved it. Where it was like, I think he had got abducted by aliens or something like that, and he had to play music for him and
Like
stuff along those lines.
Artful Escape or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that one was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that one a lot more than I even thought I would. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Mixtape, and seeing that you can skate through the town and make stuff blow up. I think that's like not even the main part of the story, but just like a thing you can do to pass the time kind of thing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to fall into this game. But man, Game Pass has just been on fire pretty much all year. I mean, all last year was pretty much on fire. This year, it feels even better just for the fact that we just got the price cut
Yeah.
not too long ago. So yeah, I mean, sure, one game left, but there's still a ton of games in there, and I guess the price difference between that, you could still pick up Call of Duty if you want to at the end of the year, or just wait the year when it goes in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Mixtape. it wasn't as high on my list as some other titles going into Game Pass, obviously, but Annapurna, I always look forward to their games. Same thing with the Devolver Digital, although not as many of theirs go in day one. A lot of theirs usually go in 6 months to a year later, kind of thing. But yeah, I think right now you have Resident Evil 9, you have Pragmata, and you will probably have Mixtape as like for at least third party titles. They'll be getting the Game of the Year nod somewhere.
What
You
about
figure
Crimson
if Mix
Desert? You think that gets there? Because it didn't originally review that high, but it's still taking the gaming world by storm. Whereas, like, a lot of the gamers don't agree with the critics.
Yeah, if there was a more gamer centric award show, I think Crimson Desert would probably get the nod because it's the gaming media that does the behind the scenes votes in a lot of cases. I think it gets snubbed. I think it's deserving of an award or at least being in that conversation for game of the year, but for whatever reason, because the critics are the same ones that will then nominate the titles, they'll probably overlook it because, and I hate making fun of the gaming media because some of them are who we think they are and others are pretty good. And the pretty
Yeah.
good ones would probably nominate it, but then they'll get outnumbered by the ones that, got bored in the first 15 minutes of playing Crimson Desert or thought it was too difficult or too repetitive or too slow moving and didn't get their first good armor set and learn their first decent wrestling move or how to get the character to fly and stuff like that. So they completely missed out, quitting after 3 or 4 hours as opposed to the people that stuck with it and they're like, this thing is getting progressively better to the point where now, that one boss that, kicks your butt, almost like the way Elden Ring was to some extent. Although I would say this is maybe a little bit easier than Elden Ring in some regards, but yeah, Crimson Desert could definitely get a nod. But Mixtape, I'm pretty sure if not the indie darling of 2026, it'll definitely get at least in the conversation for Game of the Year nomination somewhere.
It's weird if you look at Mixtape, like, comparative, like, on OpenCritic compared to Metacritic, the score is very different. Like, it's at an 85 now on Meta. Like, that's based on 21 reviews, whereas um, Mixtape is based on, I don't even know. I don't know if they say. How many reviews? One. It looks like about the same number, or maybe more. I just don't know how they come to such different disparity on aggregates, Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20. Yeah, like 30 reviews. So based on 30 reviews, the score is a 93 on Open, but on Meta, it's an 85 based on 21. Maybe it's because they're only counting the PS5 reviews. Which do you prefer, Fuzzy? Like, if a
Open
game's
Critic
released
or
on all
Metacritic?
platforms, do you think the review score should be individualized per platform, or do you think the review score should just be for the game? Because, like, I understand the merit of it in the past, you know, and obviously, like, okay, the Switch 2 version is going to be very different on a lot of games, and
Mhm.
so, but like the PlayStation version, the Xbox version, the PC version, mostly are going to be like the same on most games these days.
I honestly, I think they should be across the platform with certain exceptions or certain like asterisks. Like perfect example, let's say a game comes out, plays excellent on console, but for whatever reason, the first 2 months or after the day one patch, it's still buggy as heck on PC. Just put an asterisk. PC version needs more patches or something along those lines. Don't let it take away from the overall score. Just make mention it's perfectly fine on console or current gen consoles. PCs are having visual glitches or something like that, or the reverse. Works excellent on PC as far as even a 1080p system, versus console is stuttering or something along those lines. As far as the difference between Xbox and PlayStation, like if it's on both systems at the same time, review it as just on console, and then possibly put an asterisk. Dual sense haptic feedback not as noticeable as we would like, or you know, haptic feedback missing from the Xbox, standard controller. Haptic triggers on the Elite, might make a difference or something along those lines. Like, or like you said, with Switch 2, Switch 2 visuals definitely downgraded a good bit, or
Yeah.
it to be expected based on system capability. I but like the game in most cases plays the same. It may drop a frame here or there on one system or another, but I doubt in a lot of cases that frame drop here and there is enough to make that big of a difference on the game. Like, all right, sure, PS5 Pro, it's supposed to be higher resolution or better frames, but in some cases that's not the case, and in some cases it is the case. So it's like I think you should just have a console review, PC review, maybe a portable device or handheld, which would include Steam Deck and Switch, because they're not equal, but they're
Mm-hmm.
similar as far as spec in a lot of cases. So that might kind of give the buyer a idea based on all right, if they're saying this, the Steam Deck version is great and it's great on PC, I can just buy it at Steam. Or the portable version is not the greatest, but you know what, I'll buy it on Xbox, because whenever they do patch it for my ROG Ally, I'll be able to play it just fine over there down the road, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's if it's a play anywhere title kind of thing. So
Yeah, it's interesting because like this game more than others has such a disparity between the two sites. A lot of times it's like 1 or 2 points different, or whatever. But if you just look up and just type that game into Metacritic, or just see it on the new releases section, it's just right there. It doesn't even say the platform; it just says 85. For Meta, and it's like, okay, if that's what you're going by, but based on the same reviews that are across all the platforms on Open, it's sitting at a 93. So that's an 8 point swing, bro. You're talking about game of the year contender type score as opposed to like really good game type score. So it's interesting how we view aggregate scores from these like meta type sites, um because you can have the same pool shown in different ways, and because of the way they're doing things, you have completely different showcase numbers for that title, right? um and yeah, I understand that one is just showing the PS5 version, but if you're the average gamer, you just look it up on the front page, it just says Mixtape 85. You wouldn't, if you see it on here is at Mixtape 93 based on 30 reviews. You click on the other one, it says based on 21 reviews. And it's like, okay, that's weird. I
I honestly think the whole review thing, kind of like what you were trying to do before when we were doing reviews of games.
Yeah.
I think reviews need an overhaul that people can agree
This, yeah.
across the board. But I don't think that will happen because the gaming media likes their clicks versus other clicks, and they'll keep on doing IGN sevens to get people to argue in the comments. So
Yeah.
it is what it
It
is.
it's kind of funny too because like, the reviews are weighted on Meta.
Mhm.
As somebody was saying in the chat, and I've known this too. Like I like IGN reviews are weighted more than anything else. So like you have a smaller site doesn't have as much traffic, isn't as popular, may review the game and they may give it a 10, you know, and like okay, they don't count as much as IGN giving it a 7, you know, and the overall like aggregate for coming up with the review with the averages or for the score. Um, but that flies in the face of every single one of these sites whenever they're criticized for one of the reviews. They say it's just an opinion. It's just that person's opinion. So why would any kind of meta site in general value one person's opinion over another person's opinion when they're all just gamers, you know? And if that's what also the sites use themselves to argue against criticism about their scores, is that it's just opinion of one person. Like, you can't tell me that one person at, let's say, Dual Shockers that has an opinion about a game's opinion is worth less than somebody at IGN that plays a game. That it doesn't make any damn sense. Now, if you add into the fact that there's traffic involved, that just seems like business shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that has no place in redeeming like how valuable a game is to consumers as far as quality. Like it's completely backwards thinking that they do with the whole weighted scores thing. So
Yeah.
if it is just subjective opinions, which they lead people to believe, there should be no weight, right?
You would think, but money talks. And those bigger sites have more money and more advertising dollars and probably more influence, almost like lobbyists.
Yeah,
My
influences,
my vote counts more.
but they're like increasing the influence based on the weight of the score, also.
Yeah.
So you're saying because of the amount of influence that you have on your word of social media, and also because your site has that much traffic, we're going to actually increase the amount of influence that you have on judging everything. So yeah, if it doesn't matter, the problem is when these people get like, okay, IGN, why did you give this game a 7, but like your review reads like it's like a 2? Or why did you give it a 7 and your review reads like it's a 9? Or IGN, why did you give this game a 10 but talk about different flaws in it, but another game you had the same exact flaws and said it was amazing and give it an 8? I don't know, because it's not IGN, and they'll say this every time. It's the person.
Mm-hmm.
IGN will say always in response, it's the person's opinion, you know, like that's just what they think. This is what their score is, and you know we have our scale, and they go by our scale, you know. So to them, 7 is a good game, right? So that's why they give so many games a 7, because it fits within their scale, even if the review reads like it's dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they do this stuff. However, they have more influence over game awards. They have more
Yeah.
influence over um, scores, public opinion, all these kind of things. It shouldn't be backed by an aggregate site. It shouldn't
You
be
would think.
doubled down on by an aggregate site, because the sites themselves say that it's just a subjective one person opinion. All right, unless everything becomes more objective, which I would argue for. They should never do that. You shouldn't have an 8 point swing between one aggregate site and another in how
Should,
a game
but
is viewed. That's just weird, man. How does anybody know what to fucking go off of?
see, I've always, even though we usually quote Metacritic, I've always preferred OpenCritic.
Same.
It just feel, I know this is going to sound silly. It just feels like they're the more honest, weighted
Yeah.
or aggregate, I guess you could say. So I don't know. I've learned long ago I'm not a fan of IGN, and I know that probably closes some doors for me, but I don't care at this point because you know, happy reviewers are going to eventually get their just desserts.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Um. Well, we have Stranger Than Heaven is hitting this winter.
Mhm.
Huge get, like I said, for Game Pass. Mixtape, 93 on an Open Critic. Absolutely, people are falling in love with this game. Hits Game Pass today, and then also what we have on the a week from now. If you buy the early access version, you get Forza Horizon 6. If you don't, you get it on the 19th. Followed by Gears Z Day this year, followed by Fable, followed by Halo. And trust me, there will be more. There will be more. We don't know everything yet. There will be more. And looking forward to the summer showcase to hopefully get some reveals on some of that stuff as well, Fuzz. But
Mhm.
they didn't lose momentum from last year on the Game Pass.
Mhm. No.
In fact, they gained it back. They gained some up by having these titles, but also dropping the price again. So yeah, we'll have to buy Call of Duty at the end of the year, everybody. It sucks. I know. I don't. I wish it was in Game Pass still. However, fair trade off for the price that it's dropped down to. 21.99 I think is the, is it 22 or 21.99 I forget, but
$22.99.
22.99. To get all of these games like this year, it's absolute steal. Absolute fucking steal. I'll be playing Forza Horizon 6 all year.
Pretty much.
Yeah, is it, something people don't talk about, Fuzz, is the added value, like that, because we always look at it as like, okay, this game is coming out this year. This is how much Game Pass is worth to me this year. But there's a lot of games that I play in Game Pass that came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I didn't have to buy. It's just all always there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you could look at it at one way. Well, you don't own them, so you have to subscribe to Game Pass to keep those games. Well, those games are probably super cheap now, most of the time to buy or on sale all the time. But just overall, having that collection of stuff that's added up over the years, you know how awesome that collection of games will be at the end of this generation?
Yeah.
Just the massive amount of fucking first party games from Xbox and all these studios that have been released over this generation. Any new customer next year, let's say Helix gets announced or gets released, I mean, or whatever new Xbox device that comes out. When they subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate for $22, let's say you get your kid one for Christmas or something, right? $22, you get all of that shit. And that is something that PlayStation can't say. That is something that Nintendo can't say. They're the only ones giving you that. And they are not, that subscription service is not applauded enough. In fact, you have even Xbox fans still today trying to tear it down in the name of exclusives, saying that get rid of Game Pass if it means we get more exclusives. Just keep the fucking Game Pass going. It is the best thing in value in gaming, bar none. And all these people asking for it to go away or their games to go off of it day and date so that way we can have more exclusives, all this kind of shit. You're subscribing to Game Pass and playing these games in Game Pass, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You are. You're saying this, but you're not. You're playing these games in Game Pass just like I am.
I think if anything is to change for me, I just want to see the sales structure the way it was in the early days of Game Pass, because that's the biggest thing that's changed my buying behavior. Like, all right, fine, games went to 70, a little bit slower at purchasing day and date stuff. Um, but when you used to get, I think, like 15 off right off the rip because you were a Game Pass subscriber. So anything that was in Game Pass, you would save that if you pre-ordered it, which you don't have to pre-order a game that's in Game Pass unless you want the early access with doing the upgrade. But after 30 days, they used to do like another 10%. So it was almost like 25% off. I used to buy everything like 30 days later. Like, yeah, I'm getting Game Pass to play the games as soon as they come out. But like now I can go back and buy, Starfield. I can go back and buy, Outer Worlds 2. I can go back and buy, State of Decay 2 and stuff like that. So if they give us back that same price break that they always used to give us in the beginning, where it was 15 to start, 25 after 30 days, and I think after like 3 to 6 months, it was usually like more than half off or something like that. If they start doing that again, they'll get the sales and still have us subscribe to Game Pass. It was what Phil was when he was talking about that data about how people that subscribe to Game Pass play more games and usually buy more games was because you were getting a discount. It was like you didn't have to wait for the summer sale. You didn't have to wait for the winter sale because being a subscriber, you were already getting that type of pricing right off the rip or after 30 days or after, 6 months or so. So they go back to doing that because I don't see the sales as much as I used to. In fact, I'm looking at Ubisoft now. Why Shadows isn't on sale like it should be, and that one they haven't put in classics just yet either. But yeah, it's that's the one that they held out the most for. Instead of doing the 50% off after 3 months like they normally do, I think that one is still full price or something. It hasn't dropped to 40 yet for the basic edition, and the ultimate edition isn't 60 or 70 or whatever they usually fall to just yet. So it's like I guess I'm gonna wait until you put it on sale for the price I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
Thing. But yeah, that's Game Pass. One thing I will say, they gotta get better at advertising it in a way that casuals understand. That's
Yes.
why I say, like, instead of putting like the cards with the console, like somebody buys a new Series S or Series X and you give them that 3 month card, it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great deal. But I think a lot of the casuals would rather just have a full game. So I would say give them the full game, of whatever edition. Like if you can drop the price on the console, drop the price. If you can't drop the price, then make sure you put like an ultimate edition of like Call of Duty or Halo or Forza or something like that in the box. And then at most put like maybe a 15-day or 30-day card if you want to, try and nudge them into Game Pass after you give them a game with the console. Because I still feel people are so used to buying bundled consoles. Like that was always a thing. Like during every Nintendo will, well, they still have it with Nintendo, even with the Switch 2 because of the Mario Kart. But like all Sega generations and Nintendo generations, I always remember every system came with a bundled title. Like my Xbox One came with a bundled title.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my I don't know if my I don't think my PS4 did, or maybe I don't know. I don't think my PS4 came with a bundled title, but I think that was like the start of where they stopped doing it. But then they were eventually doing like Spider-Man with PS4s and a couple other games with the PS4 and Call of Duty with PS4. So I think having a bundled games will help them move that hardware. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Best Buy Forza Horizon thing is an awesome deal.
yeah,
How much was it? Like, I think it's like 650, but it has like the
yeah,
controller, like the special edition controller. It has Forza, that has the Series
mhm,
X. And you're getting better value there than if you buy all those things separately for sure.
yeah,
And like, hey, for new people diving in, that's a good deal. I would jump on that for sure. Um, or you could just get the console and get Game Pass. You can do that
yeah.
too. If you don't care about
True.
getting the special controller, like you could do that too. That's like one of the things. It's like good to have that option, man. Like the instant library. People were like always talk about like, well, like people can't who don't want to get more than one platform because they don't have a library built up. Like, man, you got a fucking instant library these days.
Yeah,
Like, especially on Xbox, you got an instant library to like all of the fucking releases of theirs that generation, and in last generation and the generation before that as well. Like you have an instant fucking library. It's not like a thing where like, oh, I missed out on buying those games. You subscribe to Game Pass, you got those fucking games. That's what they need to do. Like Fuzz, they need to have like a advertising campaign of like, it's in Game Pass. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's in Game Pass. Like, hey, mention a game. It's in Game Pass. I'm mentioning it's in Game Pass. It's in Game Pass. Like they gotta make people realize what's actually there. They see the term Game Pass, or they may see a marketing for a game or something that they're excited for, and be like, see the Game Pass logo, or like, get it in Game Pass. They may see that, but like they need to drive home just the Game Pass marketing itself separately. Like
Yeah.
as opposed, like figure out a way to get into people's heads how insane of a deal it is, especially at the $22. Like it's nuts, man. That all these fucking games are in Game Pass. It's insane. It's like highway robbery. I feel like I'm fucking robbing Xbox every time one of these
Like,
games releases.
I think the one drawback I see with the casuals, and I even see these stupid arguments on Twitter. It's like people don't understand that you have that instant library because they argue like, oh well, you're paying $22 to play Call of Duty, or you're paying the $22 to play Forza Horizon
No,
6.
not one game.
No, that you're talking about one game. It's not like you're only allowed to play one game at a time. You could play Forza Horizon 6 for 5 minutes and then hop over to Forza Horizon 5. And I think, well, no, Forza Horizon 4 has already been delisted, but you can hop over to Forza Motorsport, or you could hop over to Halo, or you could hop over to Hades 2 right now. You can hop over to Routine. You could hop over to, 400 other games. You're not limited to just playing one game per month. You can play
Yeah.
any of those 400 in a day or in that entire month.
Yeah.
And that needs to be the way they advertise it. Like I always think of somebody like in a store holding like a physical copy, and they're like, why not just get Game Pass instead of getting one game for $22 or whatever in the cheap bin? You get these 400 games, and they just drop like 400 boxes on their head and stuff like that, and they have to like
Yeah.
they're climbing out of a ball pit of games. They're like, wait, what? I get to play these all month? Yeah. And if you subscribe for another month, you get to play them as well, plus some new ones. We usually drop about another 15 or 20, but we might take two of them out, like the ones that are at the bottom. Something along those
Yeah.
lines. People realize how many games you have access to for the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like the marketing of Game Pass in itself has not ever been handled right. To push how insane it is. I think they could have millions of more subscribers if people actually just knew what was there. Like Doom, like just last year, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Doom the Dark Ages, Ninja Gaiden 4, right?
Mhm.
Outer Worlds 2, fucking Oblivion Remaster. I mean, Avowed, South of
Yeah,
Midnight,
Grounded too.
the kind of new Call of Duty came out that came out last year was in Game Pass. Not going to be going forward, but you could just go down the list, and it's like
Mhm.
awesome. And the other thing that's really cool that I don't think it gets talked about enough with Game Pass is the social aspect of it. Like, okay, like my daughter's gonna play Mixtape. If she wants to talk about it with her friend, she knows her friend also has Game Pass. She didn't have to like say, "Hey, you need to buy this game." It's like, "Hey, check out this game."
Mhm.
Or like tomorrow. This, by the way, 3-bit. See you in the chat tomorrow night. We're gonna be playing Halo Infinite, bro. 9 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. your time. 3-bit. 9 your time. We will be playing Halo Infinite custom games. I'll be streaming. Join us. Anybody else that's here live, you're more than welcome to join us as well. We'll be playing Halo Infinite, so if you don't have it installed, get it installed. It's in Game Pass. Well, the multiplayer's free to play anyway on that one, but it's in Game Pass regardless, so you can do it. Razor Ultron, $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Razor. Says Xbox had both exclusives and Game Pass up until 2024. Yeah, and it seemed like Call of Duty was the big like thing that was causing like trepidation last year or whatever. Raising the price, putting Call of Duty in there, and then also you have the lower the price, removing Call of Duty. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that all coincided, but I love not having to like ask if somebody owns the game. They have access to it because all of the core Xbox users all fucking sub to Game Pass. I don't know how many people that play regularly on Xbox don't sub to Game Pass. It's got to be slim amount of the core based on the console sold and the Game Pass subscribers, right? So I know that tomorrow will be anybody that wants to play will be able to play. If a new game comes out that's got a multiplayer component, I know that if I want you to check it out, like, hey, come play this game with me, you can just like install it. I don't have to ask you to buy it. That's awesome. Insane deal, and they're fucking rolling, guys. This year is going to be so good with all these titles, and I don't want them to be taken off day and date. I don't care what anybody says. Stop. And in fact, I'll say stop saying it. Stop advocating for our value to be less. So that way other people don't have access to games. I could care less.
Yeah, I want people to stop saying take away day and date and stop saying Helix needs to be $1,000.
Yeah.
Even if it has to be because of the tech in it, stop saying it. Just please.
Yeah, just don't put the energy out there. Like why?
It's almost like the PlayStation guys when they were saying, I want to pay $100 for their bangers. And it's like they kept on getting remasters and remakes and they were still paying the full 70. So it's like
okay, the rumors that GTA 6 might be $100, right? And the people coming out in defense of it already. Well, GTA 6 is like, don't fucking put the energy out there that you're okay with it, man. Just always argue for the consumer, despite of what you think damage is going to do to the finances of the companies. You know what I mean? Like, they all make fucking so much money. These like Microsoft or Xbox, Take-Two, all these companies are fucking making so much fucking money, man. They're so profitable. They're like billions and trillions of dollars, and we're like, it's okay. You can charge $100 for me. I think it's worth it. I see the value there. It's all right, guys. I'm willing to do it. I see it. I see that you have to. You have to fuck me. I'm willing to get fucked for you. Take it. Take my money.
Like Mikey Barr was talking about, yeah, we should be wanting to tip the devs. Like, for yourself. Like, what the tip the devs? This isn't a restaurant. No. We might be getting served like it's a restaurant with Game Pass, but I'm not tipping the devs. I'm not like. I mean, if they give me early access or something like that, maybe. But then that's what we would be paying for is the early access. But no, I'm not tipping the devs. I'm sorry. If I buy the game, I buy the game. They set the price. It's not like we have like restaurant wages for devs. No, sorry. I mean, there are some games that it's like, okay, I might, gift a copy or something to somebody. Not tipping. Sorry, not for games. No.
That was the most like absurd thing I ever heard of games. They're consumer products. I'm already sick of having to fucking tip every restaurant I go to now. It wasn't that way when I grew up. When you fucking get a coffee or go in there to grab a bag of food from a fucking place that you ordered ahead, and you go in there and you grab it. Everybody wants a tip now. If somebody wants a fucking tip for handing me a fucking donut, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? And who does those tips go to? We don't know. We don't know who these tips go to. Like, they're not going to the person that hands you the fucking food. They're going to the restaurant. They split them up between everybody. Like, why aren't they just paying them more? Why we shouldn't be there's fucking tips everywhere, bro. I remember when it was like only places that was tips was at restaurants that you sat down and you actually got served
Right.
food, right? Or if maybe like delivery drivers and things like that,
Hmm.
that was the only time you were ever expected to tip. Now every time you go fucking anywhere, there's a fucking screen in your face, and it's not even. It's just 15, 25, or 35%. You know what I mean? It's like holy shit, and then you have to look a little button down below, skip, and you feel
Other.
like an asshole. You feel like an asshole because they're fucking putting it in front of your face.
See, before I would be more generous. Like, okay, if I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts, I'm that guy that's getting 3 dozen donuts, and I'm being real particular on the variety. Okay, I'll put a couple of bucks or $5 in the tip jar if I'm going inside and I'm holding up the line. But they get regular wage or full wage. I would always do like, all right, keep the change kind of thing until I started putting it on like the app or whatever. But like, I'm retired now. My
Yeah.
money is a lot more limited, so it's like any place that if you're getting a regular wage or at least minimum wage and not the restaurant wage, I'm tipping. I'm sorry.
It,
It's
it
it's hard. It may be hard for them. It's hard for me being retired. So yeah,
it's like they refuse to
restaurants I
raise the
still tip.
minimum wage, but they expect us to tip every fucking where we go for everything. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's insane, man. I don't know. Everything's so fucking expensive, and it's like those percentages. And when the food goes up, the percentages of the tip goes up too.
Hmm.
Like it costs $15 for a fucking burger meal these days. As opposed to like what, like six back in the when I was younger. It's crazy, man.
Hmm.
And you got like and even I think the new generation too. You remember Fuzzy back when I was like, you remember like a tip at a restaurant used to be considered a good tip if you're at like somewhere between 15 and 20%, right?
Yeah.
That was the way it was when I was a kid. That was the way it was taught to everybody. It was like, oh, how do you figure out a tip? You do like 18.5% or 20%. Yeah, I always did
Hmm.
20 when I was younger. I would just take what the total was, and then it's easy to just figure out 20%. And now people are saying 30, 40% is what you should tip to people. I'm like, fuck me, dude. With how expensive food is too, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I used to overtip. Not to bring up race or anything, because there's that stigma that people of color don't tip or whatever, and I would always tip higher only for the fact that if I'm going to a place and do repeat business, I want you to recognize my face and give me good service every time you see me. So I and my wife my wife still at the time she was in the service business, as far as she was working as a bartender at a couple of restaurants and a server at a couple of restaurants, and I was making decent money. So tipping was never an issue, but it was one of those things where if you just do the bare minimum service, I'm probably doing 20% or rounding up to where it's around 20%, maybe a little bit higher. You're doing above and beyond, like you see my drink is low and you automatically refill it without having to, you remember what I ordered and you refill it as soon as I get to like a quarter, you're golden. You're getting them well above the 20. But if I have to keep on saying, hey, can I get a refill? Or you mess up the order or the cooks mess up the order and you don't catch it, you're getting, I guess, what, the 18%. And then if it's really bad, which I've had one where, although it was
Mm.
Applebee's is the greatest place, but they forgot my order. They brought the food out for the boys, they brought the food out for my wife, and I'm like, where's my order? So they're already eating. They finally put in the order and they wound up giving me one of my son's orders as opposed to the order I put in. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're getting 10%, and they're gonna know why, because I'm gonna talk to the manager about it, and no, there's no fixing this. I just the fix is I don't come back to Applebee's. That's
Hmm.
that's the fix for me. But,
You know who didn't
uh,
tip when I was a kid was old people. Like I just like remember I was working as a waiter, and like they would sit there for like an hour, and then they would leave me a quarter, you know, drinking their coffee, after church on Sunday or whatever, and I'm
Mhm.
like, just holding up my seat for an hour. You give me a freaking quarter. All I got was
Mhm.
a coffee.
Well,
It's
they were
just a
born in the
coffee.
Depression.
Yeah, I'm
You
on a
should be
fixed
happy with a
income.
nickel. You know,
Uh,
a nickel
Like
you should
I
buy you
gotta
a
put
loaf of
gas.
bread.
I gotta afford gas in my car, woman. Get, get your coffee and get the hell out of here. Um, Dude, that's crazy back then. But now it's just like tip everywhere. I couldn't imagine us getting like pushed to tip for games. But you know what's just crazy is when you see people like super chat like the game awards and stuff. You're giving money to like a millionaire, like a
Mhm.
multi-millionaire. It's crazy, man. Like I've seen like the super chats during like the game awards and stuff, and it's like people are like $200 super chats left and right to Jeff Keighley. Like, my God, like
Mhm.
money flying out the window like it doesn't matter. It's just might as well just fucking put it in the window and fucking light it on fire and watch the ash go into the sky.
They did like a GoFundMe for one of those female singers that was doing like a cosmetic line or something. Like she's not a billionaire yet, so let's do a GoFundMe to make her a billionaire. Like, wait, just buy her makeup and
Yeah.
you will be on that way. You don't have to do a GoFundMe for somebody that's already a several hundred millionaire kind of thing. But I don't know.
This is crazy,
Crazy
man. The
people out
world's
there.
changed so much, dude. But yeah, I don't advocate for games to be 100. Don't say it's
No.
okay. You know, it's one thing if you end up being willing to pay it because you actually can't miss out, right? I get that. Nobody's judging anybody for like buying something that they really want, right? But just stop advocating for these things. Like stop saying it publicly that it's okay. I'm willing to do it. I'm going to like pay whatever it takes, you know? I'm willing to do whatever I got to do. You know, it's okay. It's still gonna be all right. They need it. You know, I hate that like way of thinking, man. It's like flies in our face as the
Yeah.
people that are actually spending the money and the consumers that are in being impacted. You know, like by these things. So it's all right though. It's all right. We'll see
Mhm.
how much GTA 6 is. I remember Psycho was the first one to tell me that. I'll just give him credit. A long time ago, a couple years ago, he was talking to us and he said he thinks that GTA 6 is gonna be $100. But I said no fucking way. They will be lambasted if they end up doing that. There's no fucking way. There's gonna be a game sold for $100.
Yeah.
I don't know if I share that same feeling now. I honestly could see it happening. I hope it doesn't. I
No, because I think
ridiculous.
Zelnick had already said it's not going to be that, but I do think it's going to be 80 for the base edition.
Yeah, probably 80
And when I
bucks
say the
then.
base edition, that does not include online. Online will be a separate charge,
Yeah,
and people will probably be fine with it.
Nintendo games sell at $80, bro. You said like fucking Mario Kart or GTA 6. You know, same
I mean,
the
GTA
disparity in the
me,
amount of cost to develop those and the quality like and ambition behind those is so astronomical.
yeah,
All right.
but I fully see GTA 6 being 80, online being separate, where online might be $5 to $15 to $35. But I my guts tell me online's not going to be ready at launch. I don't know how far behind it will be, but that's just my guess because I think we're at the moment where if they were going to do a delay for the game, I think they would have announced it. But I think single player will be ready by that November 19th. I think they said. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, Fuzz, are you ready to do some tidbits and get on out of here after?
Yeah, let me.
Uh, 3-Bit said he would be joining tomorrow for some Halo.
Nice.
Kate says she doesn't believe shit you say, 3-Bit. What? Oh, what did you say? Oh, she'll believe it when she sees it. That's what she said. I thought she said, "I don't believe shit he says." That little fucking liar. How you doing, 3-bit? By the way. Yeah, I hope you play tomorrow, bro. See, Sotness says 80, more like 80s nuts. How can I send my super chats to Fuzzy Belvedere? You would have to send your super chats to Fuzzy Belvedere on Fuzzy Belvedere's channel. So you got to convince Fuzzy to stream more. Or if you make videos, I don't know if he has super thanks on, but you can always do super thanks. I think Fuzzy has a GoFundMe for his cats on Twitter, so you might be able to donate to that. He's trying to buy more.
No,
He's trying to buy more cats.
No more cats. They're already a handful as it is now. The two girls are teaming up against the boys,
Yeah.
And causing havoc. So
You could always send him a Cash App, Razor. Or you can send it to me. I'll give it to him. Trust me, bro. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Well, we got one more segment here on this show, and we will look ahead at the games releasing for the week on. This is Tidbits. Let's go.
all right, this first one is Alabaster Dawn Early Access on PC. Actually available today for $21.24 on Steam.
Did you say a bastard Dawn?
Alabaster Dawn.
Oh, Alabaster Dawn. Okay. I like the art style of this.
Yeah.
Witness
see,
Society develop.
When Helix comes out, this will also be, early access on the Xbox Helix. But pretty much any game that will be on Steam should be available there as well.
I saw some game adaptation in the chat said like, how come we couldn't find the dev thing for Project Helix today? I think it was just a small thing targeted just for like developers, more of like reiterating things that GDC stuff. I don't think it was like meant for like a real public thing. But if you dig around, you can find some stuff.
It was on Microsoft Game Dev YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 40 minutes. As interesting as some of this stuff is to me, I kind of fell asleep on some parts, so it's not as entertaining for the end user.
This is very technical, like,
This game is Hunt Down Overtime Early Access as well on PC this Thursday, $15.29. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, it mainly talked about stuff for the developer as far as how the store is going to be able to show their game and market their game better, as well as talking about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that'll help them with development. So let's say they're using UE5, but they don't have a server or certain other hardware or like a game engine. There are things that they can work with Microsoft to be able to get those. So that's most of what that was about.
Right on.
Now this is Mixtape coming to PS5, Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, as well as PC this Thursday for $17.99, or included in your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription.
No
Supposedly
way.
I did it last time.
the
I'm like a child. I can't handle
soundtrack
that
is
slow
awesome.
hands. Slater, you do it. You're the
Yeah.
one with the mustache.
Go eat it.
You are expelled, Stacy Rockman.
If I find you at that party, and I will find that party, You'll spend 24 hours in detention. I promise you that.
What are we gonna do? What's demanded of us?
This is like such nostalgia. What year did this take place in? Or there's a setting, I wonder.
I think this is supposed to be mid 80s.
I was gonna say maybe 90s.
This year, I want to ride a flaming stallion
Late
of
90s.
delinquency.
That looks like a
Most
Taurus.
of the time, I'm wondering
Yeah.
if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, to have the optimal teenage experience.
The teenage experience is unobtainable.
Trio of young adults have driven a shopping cart onto the island.
Silverchair. Oh, those are, you got like some 90s bands in there for sure.
Yeah,
Yay!
it's probably
Okay, something
90s.
down.
And
Silverchairs.
Almost!
no old ball.
Come on, abuse me more, I like it. That's what the people are saying that want games to be $100. That's a song by Silverchair, by the way. Come on, keep talking, cause it's true.
All right, this next one is Will Follow the Light, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday for
Dad
$24.99.
taught me everything about the sea. Lighthouses, sailing. I tried to forget him, but he keeps coming back, asking for forgiveness. But it's so hard to forgive after all those years of ignoring him. But now I'm sailing
Molly.
to find my son, and I'll be better. Dad used to say, go towards the light when you don't know where to go, so
Good graphics.
I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going.
Forgiving someone is never easy. It means letting go of the negative emotions of the past and trying to understand their motives. It is a difficult choice, but one that must be made to move forward.
You said that Ford Taurus was a police car in RoboCop. I don't remember. I remember in the late '80s, I think they had the Taurus and it was a little bit more boxy, and then in the early '90s they changed it to that look more curved look.
Yeah.
And that one looked like a little bit more curved.
Yeah, the one from the 90s was the egg. And then the, I always kind of refer to the late 80s one as the slab body, or the,
Yeah.
it was almost like a fox body
Yes, yeah.
look.
That typical '80s car look, yeah. In the '90s, everything became curved.
Yeah.
I have you in sight, Molly. Coming closer and we'll make for the harbor.
I don't know. This is like a boat going in the ocean.
I get that it's kind of like a walking simulator, but then I guess you can also get on vehicles and stuff like that as well.
Right.
Oh, this one is Battlestar Galactica.
I was gonna say Star
Scattered
Fox.
Hope. Coming to PC this Monday for $24.99.
Extensive
Nice.
damage to our hull. Civilian ships hit. 80 dead, injured still counting. This Cylon encounter was the deadliest so far.
Yeah, that's wall diggity. The '90s, like Ford Taurus was like one of the most sold cars. Like
Commander,
it was
we're out of
so
scrap. We need to start scavenging.
everywhere.
Shall we
Bro.
send someone to a nearby wreckage?
That's when American cars were still, or American automaker cars were still the best sold cars. And then the Accord and then the Camry
Lieutenant,
started
Yeah.
fighting it out, and of course got
We used
forgotten.
up our last nuke in this fight.
we had to.
And Chevy
And
had the
Ford got rid of
Malibu.
the
There's still
Taurus.
many jumps.
Yeah.
Check abandoned military
Malibu-
convoys nearby.
Unfortunately, it wound up being like the #1 rental car.
R&D
Yeah.
department requests scrap to upgrade our hangar bay.
But before then, they had the Lumina and the Monte Carlo.
Yep, my mom had a Lumina.
They can't keep
I wrecked
people
it.
injured.
You're right.
Yeah.
Give them what
Not
they need.
good.
No, it was well, it wasn't my fault.
Not a good time for a strike.
The guy was changing his pants
We can't have them turn on us
when he
now.
was driving.
Greatest contact, Cylon's approaching.
He was driving with his knees or his elbows.
Don't know. He got out of the car and he had to put his pants on. His pants were down on his ankles.
Viper, head for the Raider.
Did he have a
Don't let them
passenger
get
with
close.
him?
Wolf, I
No.
want you to focus on the snipers.
Okay.
I think he was changing
Keep our nukes
on his way to work,
We'll use them if it
and he
comes
wasn't
down.
paying
Oh.
attention to the road. And I was cutting across
Survived until now,
traffic,
and we'll survive until we
Mhm.
rejoin the guard.
um,
So say we all.
and he like swerved into my lane and hit the side of me.
Oh.
I was a teenager. This guy's an adult. Is his word
Mhm.
against mine? He was also going probably like 70 miles an hour.
Jeez.
The very
This
true
next one is-
Razor. Very true Razor.
This one is Outbound, coming to Series X and S and PC this Monday for $24.99.
You can pet the dog. This is also on Game Pass, I think.
Yeah.
So my mom also had an Oldsmobile Alero.
Oh, okay.
So when I was a kid, the family car was a Taurus. And my mom had an Illumina, and she had an Alero. The Alero was fucking awesome.
I have seen things.
It was
that
like
should be forgotten.
90 or 2000, 2001,
I've
2002,
tried
something like that.
to escape
And that thing
my
was
past.
had a beast of an engine.
Yeah.
It was super nice and comfortable
I've had
inside.
enough of death and
And then
madness.
then
It was-
Oldsmobile went under.
But the world is changing.
Yeah. It was their.
Now search for answers.
I'm trying to think. It was like the
far
replacement for the
reaches.
Cutlass and the Delta 88 size range
Mhm.
car. The Aurora was
For
the
shocking
98
secrets.
replacement, and the Alero was like the
Dizzying
slightly smaller, but it had like almost the same power engine to it.
Yeah.
For there
Um,
lies
Dude,
It
that
didn't
thing
have
could
the-
go.
upon this
Yeah.
world of man.
But
a
man, oh
mocking
man, my dad was always an Oldsmobile guy. He had Tornadoes and 98s, and
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit of time, my grandfather had a Delta 88, but he eventually got rid of that for a Grand Prix. Right, this one is Clockwork Ambrosia, coming to, I believe, just PC. Wait, let me see. Yeah, just PC this Tuesday for $49.99.
Yeah, the Aleros look good too, man. Like, they had a 2-door version and a 4-door, I think. My mom had the 4-door, but it was like roomy, but also not over big, you know? Super comfortable, and the engine was awesome, man. The Razor says I could see Fuzzy in a G6.
No, I've my car collection has mainly been Jeeps for the most part. Other than two Mustangs, a Camaro, and the rest of them have been more of economy cars or trucks or SUVs and stuff.
You control 5 pioneering astronauts as they embark into the dark.
It's crazy to think about how many cars we probably all had.
Capable of mimicking its prey.
We're such like also irresponsible. We probably in the course of our life we probably could have had like 3 or 4 cars, you know. But like if I look back at it, I've had way too many fucking cars. Way too many.
My thing was for a while there, I always wanted to have 2 cars. I wanted to have my fun car and then my daily driver. And too often I had 2 fun cars and I would have to pick one as my daily driver.
Yeah.
The Jeeps are not really good daily drivers. I mean, especially if you have to drive long distance because they suck on gas. Oh, Directive 8020 is coming out Tuesday, and that's $49.99 as well for PS5, Series X and S, and PC. This is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle finally coming to the Switch 2 this Tuesday for $69.99.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Last Crusade.
My first car was a 99 Mustang, then I had a 2000 Mustang because the 99 Mustang was totaled. Then that 2000 Mustang got taken away from me by my parents. Then I got my mom's Lumina. Then I had a Ford Ranger, a 99 Ford Ranger. It was awesome. Then I had a Continental. The old one, yeah. Then a Galant, a Rio, a Kia Rio. Fuck, man. As a Grand Vitara. I'm trying to think of it. Like I ran the gamut, man. A Town and Country. My daughter was a baby. We had a van. Then after the Town and Country, we had a Ford F-150. Then we had 2 cars, an F-150 and a CRV. Then we had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, Volkswagen Atlas, a Nissan Titan, a Dodge Ram, another F-150, another Ram, a Mazda 3, a different Atlas. Instead of the Atlas full size, is Atlas Cross Sport. I think I'm caught up. Right now, we're just like we just have my truck. That's just what we're using.
See, I went from a 90, I want to say it was a 94 Mustang GT, then a 97 Wrangler, because I couldn't keep the GT because insurance. I only kept that for like, not even a week. It was like a weekend. Then I had a 97 Wrangler, 2000 Wrangler. At the same time, I also had a 2003 Wrangler. Also had a 2003.
Did you get 2
Saturn
Wranglers at the
Ion.
same time? That's awesome.
So I worked for an automotive aftermarket company that did stuff for Jeeps. So we got 2000 to put towards our down payment.
Yeah.
And the 03 was new roll bars or thicker roll bars and a couple other changes. And I always bought, whenever they did something major change, I always bought a new one. So I had the 2000 Wrangler, the 2003 Saturn. My wife had the Ford. She had a Ford Escort. And then we gave that to my niece. I gave her my Saturn, and then I got the 03 Wrangler. And I got I think I got an 05 something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then I got an 07 Wrangler. Then we got my wife an 09 Wrangler. And I had the 05 Mustang. I had the 05 Mustang and the 07 Wrangler at the same time, while my wife had an 09 Wrangler. I eventually sold the 07 Wrangler. A girl texting on her cell phone wrecked the 05 Mustang. Ordered a 2010 Mustang. No, 2011, because it was a 5.0. It never shipped, or it didn't ship until too late. Got that 2010 Camaro, modified the heck out of that thing, and got rid of it for the F-150 because it was too small for the boys. Like we just got custody of the boys, and their knees were to their chest. So got the F-150. Then I got rid of that in 2 years within like a year, I think, because the doors, there was a problem with the crew cab doors, and they wouldn't fix it. It was a recall. So I was like, okay. So I got that was a 2016 F-150. Then I got a 2018 Wrangler, unlimited Rubicon. It wrecked it by running into my front wheel. Got an exact twin of that Jeep, 2018, and then I just recently traded that for a 2025 Honda Civic Sport. And then wife got, instead of her, when we got rid of her '09 Wrangler, we got a 2019 Jetta, and that's where we're at right now. But there's a Cherokee in between there,
Yeah,
and there's at least another Wrangler in there somewhere.
it's crazy, man. Like I kind of like, what would happen if I went back in time and I just had a car, paid it off, kept it for like a decade, you know what I mean? Then just did another one, you know, and it's like crazy how much we pay for cars over the years, man.
I tried keeping, like, there were a lot of times where I had them paid off. Actually, most of them I had paid off before I got rid of them, kind of thing, or traded them in. The '05 Mustang, I remember at one point, because I had paid that off in the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to get a 2010 Camaro as well, and just have those as my two cars. The Mustang would say the daily driver, and then the Camaro would be the garage queen. And none of the dealers at the time would come off of that $10,000 markup when the cars first came out. And I was like, I
Yeah.
never pay markup.
No.
I'm not getting the car. And then the girl runs into it, wrecks the '05. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to now get a new Mustang because I had to fight with the insurance company about them fixing it. And the only way to fix it was to cut the roof because the way it caved in the right rear quarter panel and the door seat or the roof seam. I'm like, I can see the waves where you fixed it. It's like,
Yeah.
and the was in black, so it's like the waves were as clear as day. I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing. And I didn't. I learned my lesson then. Although I can't remember, was it Progressive or Geico? It was one of the two. I think we're back with Progressive now because insurance just keeps getting ridiculous. And I'm
Yeah.
like, paid off. Why am I paying all this? Well, drivers in Pennsylvania have gotten. I'm like, we haven't, we haven't had any incidents in like 12 years. What do you?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, I haven't
it's
had
ridiculous.
anything since I was like a teenager, you know, like at all that would have been negative on insurance, but it still just like keeps going through the roof. Forgot one. I did have a Kia Soul in there during COVID because I was using it to do like food deliveries and stuff because I was just trying to make extra money because it wasn't working, you know. So I had that because our regular cars are just gas guzzlers, you know. But even then, like I remember, like then they were trying to get markups on every fucking car, you know, because like they couldn't keep cars in stock because there was just the chip shortages were affecting cars as well, as oil shortages, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was crazy. But it took me like days because I was just looking for the cheapest thing that has spacious because I'm a big guy that I could get the best gas mileage out of, you know, for as cheap as possible. That was the car. It was actually a pretty decent little car though. Shout out to Mac22TH54 with the $2. Appreciate you again, sir. Says Fuzzy Pixelbg. What the frack, bruh? What the frack about? What the frack about? What about how many cars?
Pixelated echoes. We probably about, we haven't done pixelated echoes in a while.
Yeah. Well, it'll come back. Well, I'll harass 3-Bit about it tomorrow to see if he says when he's bringing it back. He's been busy, guys. So
yeah.
All right, everybody. I hope you all have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Calarie for hopping in during the show earlier and chilling with us for a little while as we waited for Fuzzy to get here. And Fuzzy, thanks for being here as always, bro. You rock. Tell everybody where they can find your rambles and rants, sir.
Well, as always, love doing this podcast with you on Thursdays. Always love talking about the industry and Xbox in general and all the great stuff we got to look forward to, whether it's Forza Horizon next week or the showcase in June. Man, this is if Pong was here, he would say this is definitely the golden age when it comes to at least games and hopefully for Xbox at this point, because it's definitely feeling like it right now. But
Yeah.
you can find me on social media. Search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You can find me tomorrow. Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. And then Fright Night with Ferocious Fee on Friday at 6. What is it? What do you call him? Psycho Gorman is the movie we're doing.
Oh,
Think
Psycho
of
Gorman.
think of something similar to like Toxic Avenger, but crazier. That's
Okay.
all I can say.
Right on. Psycho Gorman. Hey, dude. I'm stoked. Well, you have a good one, Fuzzy. Take it easy, man. Everybody in the
You as
chat,
well.
you guys rock. Have a good one. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't find my button. Oh, there it is. Bye.